my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks. You're now rocking with the one, the only, the Don Tony Teflon. Just cheer. And I am here with another song of Ice and Fire. What if this is what if Stannis Baratheon won the Battle of Blackwater? And to get this on with me is my brother. Been in this game for a long time, B. When we first started, I didn't have to wear glasses. We bought both our beers didn't have the white in it.
Exactly. I was going to say exactly what I was going to say, man. That turned white, man.
Oh, the one, the only Chris from Smoke Street. What's going on, bro?
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me on, brother. Been a while since the I think the stream that was promised, and I think I hopped on with you and Phil one time. But man, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me, man.
No, thanks for coming through. What up to everybody in the chat? Yeah, me and Smoke, we've been last time. So we did a thing called the stream that was promised. So back in the day, I came with this idea. It was a great thing. I came with this idea. I said, listen, Game of Thrones is starting. I want to have people from one channel go to another channel, then that last person goes to the other channel, and then we're going to go through the whole until Game of Thrones starts. And Chris was the first one that was on board to do it. You know what I mean? He was like, yes, so do it. And we did it, me, him, Val. We had it. Aziz was in there. We had just about everyone who was doing it at the time doing that. And it was a really good stream. And Phil obviously was in there with us and everything else. Really good time, though.
It was cool, man. It was a great idea, man. And that's what we need more of. I feel like there's this community's kind of gotten split into 3 or 4 parts or something, man. But that was outstanding. Good times, man.
I feel you. All right, let's go through. All right, let's say what's up to the people. We got Sonic. Your boys is in the building rocking with us. The one OTDA is in the building rocking with us. John Haymaker is in there and everything is rocking with us. Oh, let's go. Who else do we got in here? We got Matt Spruce in the building rocking with us right now. Who else do we have? Crystal is in the building. Sydney is here. Carl Karsnock is up in this piece rocking with us. Cool Gamers in here. What up to everybody? We'll say what up to other people as they come in. Again, if you're going to Super Chat, I would appreciate it if you send it to the Cash App. YouTube takes 20% of all Super Chats that you go. If you can only do it through that, then that's good. But if you can, send it to the Cash App. It's on the crow on the bottom. That's $ Tony Teflon 545. All right, let's get to talking about Stannis straight up. So to say what if Stannis won the Battle of Blackwater is to say that the whole story of this book would end. So we have to come up to a logical thing. Right. And I guess the most logical thing to say is that Tywin just doesn't get there in time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do we start off with the premise of he doesn't get there in time or he actually gets there and loses? So that's a whole different thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Doesn't get there in time. Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, we'll have to go with Stannis. This doesn't get there in time. He's already beaten, taken the throne. Because any other way would just be to say he got there and he lost when he actually won wouldn't feel right. So we have to say something. The only way I could see him winning this at this time, well, he could have brought Melisandre, right? Melisandre's like, if you would have brought me, you would have won.
That's right.
She specifically says that. You would have brought me, you would have won. Because she did something with that Wi-Fi that we can't suspect. So that's way too hard to go. Let's just go with he does not get there in time. Tywin, Stannis seizes the Iron Throne. We have Tyrion to deal with. The Hound still escapes with Sansa. That would still happen. Tyrion would be there, and Cersei in there. So what do you think happens right then?
Yeah, I think immediately you got a shorter story, just overall shorter story. I mean, that effectively ends War of the Five Kings. You have Cersei; she's going to be dead with the poison. Tommen, I'm assuming, was with her. I think Sansa. The thing with Sansa, I don't know if that goes down the same or not. You could argue it does. Maybe she doesn't leave with the Hound or whatever, depending on how that battle actually goes. If he gets in there quicker, whatever it may be, so the Hound can't escape. So Tyrion, you could say he's probably either killed or sent to the wall. Effectively, the Lannisters, even with Tywin not getting there, still been alive or wiped out of that story. So then kind of the butterfly effect of, maybe no red wedding down the road. Sansa maybe goes back to Winterfell. Robb gets that and bends the knee, becomes Warden of the North. Ned's name is cleared. I think that would be a big thing for sure. Again, taking Tywin out of the equation changes it a little bit because if he was there, perhaps he's dead or sent to the wall. What does he do? Does he team up with the Tyrells to try to avenge, Cersei and all of them as well? A lot of crazy things happen.
So we'll say that you do believe that Tyrion was to say he's captured or executed, but he's captured. Cersei definitely poisoned herself.
Yeah.
She killed her son, and then we would take it from there. Stannis has the Iron Throne right now. Jaime's not there. He's gonna be hella mad. Tywin's not there. He's gonna be hella mad. So he's going to have to deal with Tywin and Jaime Lannister. Now, when we look at who would have Stannis's back now and who wouldn't, you would have to think that if this goes in and Cersei dies, Jaime's going to go apeshit.
Yeah.
And if Jaime goes that mad, then Tywin's going to back him no matter what. So this is a big deal, having Tywin Machina going against the crown. Even though he holds the throne, how long he's going to hold this throne is to be decided right now and everything else. So when we look at his battles, like who would be on his side at this particular time, he most likely would have the North on his side, right? He would have. I think so.
North. Yep.
He'd have the North, so he'd have Robin, he'd have them. They would be on his side.
And they had already won a few victories against the Lannisters too. And Jaime, if he still held hostage, I guess he was released by then, but he wouldn't know what the hell was going on in King's Landing to that point, and Tywin wouldn't know that he was still alive either. So.
Yeah, you'd have to assume that we would have to go that Jaime eventually makes it back to Tywin, whether it's Brienne that gets in there, but he definitely will get back to Tywin.
Right.
And then Brienne will go off and do her thing after that.
Yeah, because they get to King's Landing, they see Stannis banners. They're probably not going in King's Landing, I guess. Yeah.
It'll make no sense. Now, also, you'd have to assume that since Stannis has taken the throne, Melisandre's going to have a lot of influence. So,
definitely. Right? It's going to reinforce his whole "I'm the prince that was promised" thing. The Lord of Lights, the new religion there. There's no faith uprising, all that stuff.
So listen, it may be a bigger faith uprising because now you have a man who's in there who is willing to burn people to death, who's coming with a different religion, which would probably make a lot of the people not happy with him. It's good propaganda for other people like Jaime and them to say, this man who's sitting on the Iron Throne has brought in a foreign religion. He's burning people at the stake. He doesn't praise the seven. This would be a problem for Stannis Baratheon without a shadow of doubt. We got a super chat here from Kelly Johnson. Thank you, Kelly. And it says, F the city, F the king, God, F the king.
Fuck the king. God, I missed the Hound, man.
Yeah, you know, the Hound was interesting. I would have to say, I would want him to get away. So that's what I mean, there's a good chance he could be executed too, but it's a better story if he does get away. If he gets away at that time, you know, I think it's a much better story. So dealing with Sansa, most likely Sansa still stays there. All right.
Yep.
So Sansa's still there. Stannis takes the throne. So now you have none of this to deal with. Sansa's safe. There's nothing to deal with.
Safe and probably return to Robb for his bending the knee, like you said.
Do you think she gets returned, or do you think that she gets married off? I mean, she's a big chip in this.
I mean, I would say just off the top of my head to secure, you know, again, the whole Robb thing, probably offer to return, clear Ned's name. And just that right there, you know, gives Robb what he needs and Sansa's return. I think to secure the North, which he knows he needs, I think he would probably return her to. I mean, I can't think of anything would make me believe. I mean, if he wants to establish, you know, political thing, that's one thing, but you know, he's also going to lose the North if he doesn't at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to hurt her. So whether she makes it back or anything, but she is, you know, listen, he's married, so there will be no wedding pact with him. His wife will be there, so he's not there to get married. Davos is there. We're not going to marry anyone to Davos. So when he starts talking about alliances, Stannis is going to have the Stormlands is going to be on his side. But can he bring in the Tyrells? Is it possible that he secures the Tyrells and maybe with a marriage to Sansa to a Tyrell that could secure that for him?
Yeah, I mean, that would have to be the only way. Otherwise, I think the Lannisters, they're again, assuming that Tywin's still out there, he would have to try to make that move with the Tyrells as well. So he may.
I mean, they could. So who would the Tyrells side with? Now you would have Marjorie. Would she be upset with Stannis for what he's done? She feels like she wants to be queen because that's her whole thing. Marjorie's trying to get on the throne. She can't get on the throne with Stannis. That's not happening unless his wife dies. She's not going to be able to marry her. So if they're trying to get her on the throne, then the next best thing we gotta look at here it would be they would have to probably go over and see Jamie and say, listen, Cersei's dead now. If we win this battle, we marry Jamie to Marjorie Tyrell. Let's ask the chat. Do y'all think that is something that would happen? Would Tywin try to make the deal of marrying Jamie, Cersei's dead, to Marjorie Tyrell? Sydney is saying, yes, Stannis would have everyone turned against him with the R'hllor religion. Also, with his unforgiving, strict nature, his people wouldn't like. He's not going to be liked. He's not gonna. I mean, that's what his brother tells him and everything else. Like, listen, you know, you have no friends. You know what I mean? You have no friends, man. You never wanted friends, and now you're a lonely man on this throne right now with a religion that no one believes in this country. So, what would you? Well, let's ask people in chat again. Do you think that Tywin would make that deal? What do you think? Do you think that's more plausible if that would go?
Yeah, I think the Tyrells they're gonna go with the most likely victor. So they would probably sit back and wait to see what happens a little bit. They think Tywin can take the throne, they're gonna go with Tywin. Otherwise, there may be some scheming and poisoning or whatever to get in there and try to still get Marjorie with Stannis, whether that takes because hey, they did the purple wedding, they would certainly kill off his wife.
No doubt about it. All right, so we got thank you for the super chat show. Baxter says, do you think Stannis would be a good king? So overall, if Stannis was king, do you think that he would be a good king? We've seen a lot of kings. We've seen Joffrey's a shitty king. We've seen Robert, he surely wasn't that great of a king when it came to politics, but he was very well liked. What kind of king do you think Stannis would be, and do you think that he'd be a good king?
I say define good. I mean, yeah, I think Stannis would be fair. I think that's the better way to put it. Stannis would be fair. Like, I mean, he's always been about duty first. I think he would do what he has to do, whether he likes or not, for the sake of honor and all that stuff. So he's harsh but fair, as he puts it. For example, we saw go the other way with the show actually win or whatever. He decided, okay, let's go save the realm before we can rule it. So he does the right thing when he can. But again, how much influence does Melisandre have? Does she still have and we'll get into that later, I'm sure, when we get down the story to the White Walker stuff, if that even happens. But how much influence does she have? Is he more enamored by the Lord of Light and more believing in it because he won that battle like she said he would, and all that type of thing? So overall, I mean, if he got settled in and people accepted it, I think he would be a good king in some sense. But again, it depends on the whole religious aspect.
Yeah, the religion would be the problem, would be why I think people would not like him in Westeros. Yeah. But as for him being a king, he's the type of king that you would want to be king. When you're the guy that is really going to call it right down the middle. He's not going to favor anybody on one thing, whatever. But he's also someone who's going by the letter of the law, right? So the fact that it's not going to be any bending, it's going to be nothing like that. It's going to be, this is what the law did. Did you break the law? Well, I stole the cheese because we were starving. Look, did you steal the cheese?
Right. Exactly.
Don't give me the circumstances. Why did you steal?
Did you steal the cheese? Lose the hand.
You got to go. And then, so it would be a situation like that, which is good and also bad. So I think it comes as pros as cons. I know someone in the chat said anyone who would outlaw. Who would outlaw prostitution is not a good clean.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd be able to do that. Stannis is too inflexible. His duty, he doesn't see subtly. No, I don't. He is flexible when he has to be when it comes to him.
Exactly.
Because everyone says, "Oh, Stannis is this," but listen, when he had to have a shadow baby to kill his brother, he did it. That was underhanded. He was like, fuck it, yeah, put that baby out there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because he would have lost. He would have died right then. He would not have won that battle. He knew he wouldn't have won that battle, and Renly would have executed his own fucking brother.
That's what I was going to say. Paul saying something in the chat, too. That's what I was going to say. Well, Davos being handed the king, he's the other side of that, right? So you got this, constant, we saw it in the show as well, obviously, is you got this constant pull with Davos and Melisandre. So the question is which way does he lean? Does he listen to Davos? Is he hand? Is he still against Melisandre? Obviously, with the shadow baby shit, that doesn't happen.
Mhm.
Or I guess that still happened. So there's still some stuff there going on. So I don't know what happened with Davos. Does he kind of get him to be sensible, or is it more down the religious path, like we're saying?
Yeah, Jane Marie, thank you for joining us, Jane Marie. She says if he won the Battle of Blackwater without Mel's help, I don't think he would have been so tired tried to move the religion moving forward. I think he would be still, because it's all propaganda. His wife's already into it,
Yeah,
and she said she saw his victory in the flames. So she would have took some credit for it no matter what. You know what I mean? It's his banner is the heart of her law.
Yeah.
Right. That's how much. I don't know if he's changing his banner. I think his banner is going to stay the fiery heart of her law with the stag in it. So I don't see it that way. I think he still would be serving at that. And I think that's very interesting. We say, does he lean towards Davos or does he lean towards Melisandre? From what we've seen, he's always leaned toward Mel. I don't think he's picked Davos over her once at all.
Yeah, he tries to get in his ear, but then they're kind of back and forth. He sees Davos as honorable and whatever, as the old Onion Knight because of the whole Storm's End siege and all that. So he's always got he's kind of got a place in his heart, I suppose. But he's always, once he starts seeing Melisandre's bullshit come to pass, with the leeches and all that stuff, then he starts buying into that more and more. So the less he's listening to Davos.
Yeah, so then you deal with the whole situation with Tywin, and we talked a little bit about Tywin before. And yep, Jane, you're correct. You're correct in that. Except you're 100% correct, James. Except he didn't listen to Davos and didn't bring her at the battle. Yes, it was Davos that convinced him not to bring her because he said that everyone's going to give her the credit, and you want to take the credit. He was wrong for listening to Davos that time. But maybe that's
and that's another thing, I mean, obviously we're talking about if he won, but yeah, he's like, why didn't I bring why did I listen to you?
Yeah, I lost to a fireball. I had a woman that may have been able to soak all the fire up in her own body or redirect that fucking fire somewhere else and shot it back at them. You know what I mean? But hey, hindsight's 2020. But you're 100% correct. You're 100%. What up, Paul? Thanks for joining us and everything else. So yeah, it's interesting. I think the biggest thing you have to deal with is him holding the throne without that going up against the Lannisters, because that's going to be his biggest thing right off the bat. It's going to be no White Walkers right away. It's going to be none of that, because all this stuff changed. Like, you don't even know if Jon wins this battle now, because if it wasn't for Stannis going up to the wall, the wildlings would have came and took the wall from Jon and executed Jon. It was Stannis, when Stannis went up there and smashed those dudes, you know what I mean? That's what made him. So that would be a whole different situation. The wildlings could take the wall. Now, does Jon ask for help? And then Melisandre see the letter, put it in the flyer and says, the true battle's at the wall. We got to go to the wall. And then he sends
exactly. That's the thing. He's going to start getting pulled, right? Because if she still has that vision about all the true enemies here and says that, now he's got to decide, okay, I got the crown, but we got Tywin over here. Because that's going to be the big, like, you're going to skip a couple seasons there of the shit that we saw, right? I mean, so now you're, like you said, being the king, his main threat at this point, before Dany even gets into the equation, is the Lannisters and whatever he can possibly do to try to get revenge, if he does. But then the other side of it is he does want to do the right thing for the realm and be a good king. We're doing air quotes again. So yeah, does she have that vision still and head up to the wall and that whole thing? And I think Jon's probably dead in this scenario, because she's not up there to get close to him and sense this magic thing going on with him and all this other stuff. And before we get, I know we're jumping a little bit ahead, but do the White Walkers even return at this point for him to be focused on? Because we don't know why they returned. They didn't give us answers. Was it Jon? Were they looking for Jon? Like they said, Waymar Royce looked like Jon. So a lot of people thought they came back because, this Prince of Prophecy was born. So, we're assuming they do come back. We'll get to that, I'm sure. But that's now he's pulled in two different directions.
Yeah, and Jackie C, you're 100% right. She says, but Stannis would have no reason to go to the war. If he won, he only won because he was losing. And that's correct. He went up there because he was two reasons. Melisandre told him that the real threat was up there. We need to go to the war. And because he was already beat and he had to go get army, he needed this North army in order to win the war and try to take it again. So he had to solidify the North. And why he did that, he went up there and went through the war.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to show that he was saving the realm in order to rule it. So that was the whole purpose.
Yeah, and now he's already ruling it. And he has the North. He has them already. He has Robb and he has Sansa. And let's just say that Tywin Lannister has the Tyrells. If she had the Tyrells, does Stannis get the Ironborn? Does the Ironborn still go if they went against, well, if they took over Winterfell, that would still happen. There'd be no Red Wedding. So Robb would eventually have to go back to Winterfell to take Winterfell back from Theon and them.
Right.
Which we would have to assume that he does do that.
Yep.
And Bran and them would probably still escape and head north because he probably wouldn't get there in time for that. And to save them, they'd probably still leave. So Bran would still be on his mission up there. Rickon would probably still be going on his way over there, and the Boltons would probably, but then
there's probably never going to be a Bolton Lannister alliance, right? Because I mean he's going to be seen as defeated to at least some degree. Tywin and the Lannisters, they're essentially wiped out. The question that you were talking about, Jaime too. If Jaime finds out Cersei's gone, Jaime might be,
Jaime's gonna lose his mind. He's gonna be
he may just be out anyway and die himself by his own hand. There's no telling it because he doesn't know the status of Tywin until he gets back to him.
Yeah, I think you seen him when he went after Robb when he cut through like 8 people trying to get to Robb when he got upset that one time.
Yeah.
He's gonna if he's gonna get mad, he's gonna get mad. It's hard to look at the North because Robb would have to go back. And then it was taken, not by Theon took it, then stolen from Ramsay, from Theon. I don't know if Ramsay would still try to take it, knowing that Robb and them are going to come back.
Exactly.
Because
there's a lot of what ifs within this what if. And the timing is crucial, like you said. So it's not going to be any problem for Robb to take Winterfell back from a handful of Ironborn for sure. So I don't know how they play into the equation. In the bigger picture as far as the Stannis thing, because then you never down the road you never have Euron with the Cersei team up and all that with the Lannisters. So definitely going to take Winterfell back. So I think that's probably secured, and then the Boltons never make a deal with Tywin.
Yeah, I would say Boltons don't. Ramsay doesn't take it from Theon. Lets Theon keep it. Robb goes up there, most likely executes Theon. If he catches him, he's going to kill him. Chop his head right off. Done deal. We know Robb. That's how he gets down. So we'll just say that Robb takes it back. Theon is there. He gets caught, and Robb takes his fucking head right the fuck off as he should.
Yep.
That's done. But now we do have Ramsay. He was hiding out. He still be with Roose. Roose is still cunning and still sneaky enough with the phrase to say, "Hey, listen, this guy didn't marry my daughters. Could Tywin convince him to do it? I think so. I think Tywin can still convince him to have a red wedding. I mean, he did it before. Why couldn't he do it again? Especially if Roose wants the North and he gets Roose on his side too. I could still see them pulling off a red wedding situation.
I think it's possible. I think it's a lot less likely, just because he has no backing from the Lannisters. Essentially ruled King's Landing, but now you have Stannis in there. The phrase are going to be a little less apt to go along with somebody who just didn't get to the battle in time or lost or whatever you want to call it, and half their families wiped out. So I think it's less likely, but it certainly could still happen.
So when the Lannisters had King's Landing, I mean, it was all their troops that were in King's Landing.
Pretty much.
So it would still be their army. You know what I mean? It'd still be that Lannister army. Just wouldn't be in King's Landing. And they were the one flipping the bill for King's Landing. So they still all have all that money that everyone believes that they have and everything, right?
Right.
So I would think that, and the fact that now Theon's dead, so there's no way to get an Ironborn alliance going on with the North and them. So you would have the Ironborn willing to join up with Tywin. because of that situation, even though they always had beef with the Lannisters and they always liked to burn the Lannisters' fleet. But you could see them,
Right.
you could see them hanging out and everything else. And so I still do think that there's a good chance.
But what would the Ironborn? What would they want? If Cersei's going, all that type of thing. What do they get in return? That's the question.
Well, it would have to be just lands in the end, because if Tywin takes it from someone, I think someone subscribed Pax. I can't pronounce it. P. What?
There you go.
Thanks for subscribing, man. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that 100%.
Oh, paradoxical axolot. There you go.
Oh, paradoxical axolot. There you go. There you go. That's what's up. Thank you, man. I appreciate that 100%. Let's look at some of these comments in here. There's one I wanted to read. Someone said something that I agreed with. I wanted to see what they said. I think it was Jackie. Was it Jackie? He said something. I said, I would say that Stannis would never pull a red wedding, but no, not Stannis doing it. It would be Roose Bolton pulling the red wedding still, and Tywin trying to weaken Stannis's army. Because after he did that, after he went up there, Robb would have to retreat, go back, take Winterfell. Then he has to make his way all the way back down. Stannis would have Sansa there in King's Landing, so that would be his alliance. He'd have to be down with her because he has her there. So there'd be no choice. You'd have to run with Stannis on that side. So now Tywin is going to want to up, and Lord Kevin subscribe. Thank you so much, Lord Kev. I appreciate that. So then Stannis will be here every Wednesday. Is What If Wednesday. We'll be here every Wednesday. Hopefully with other YouTubers and everything talking about what if scenarios. And if you want us to do a what if for you, put it in the comment section. What if you want to see next? And then we'll pick one of those to do and stuff. All right. So Robb would have to go back, take Winterfell, then go forth after that and go and try to help Stannis defeat Tywin Lannister. You would have the Mandalays who eventually would get Rickon that would be brought to them. They'll be down with them. So you have House Mandalay down with them. You wouldn't have anything to deal with them unless the Red Wedding happens. Now, if the Red Wedding still happens, and I think we should say that it happens because it makes it more interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because basically without that, we're kind of just we got to skip ahead to Danny showing up and is John alive and that type of thing. So
yeah, I think you have to have that. Yeah, if you
I don't think it would, but yeah, for shits and giggles, yeah, let's say that.
I mean, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. I mean, because if Roose is that ambitious and he wants the North, and Frey's want that, and Frey, and Roose doesn't marry, because in order for it to happen, Roose has to agree to marry Fat Walder. Right? He has to agree to marry her. All that stuff has to happen, which Roose would agree to marry her because he got all that money from him. Tywin would have their back. Just take out Robb. That'll cut down half of Stannis' army right there. And boom. So I think it's definitely a good chance. John Haymaker will go through it. It says, if Stannis takes King's Landing, would Danny fight for him? No, I don't think at all.
No. Because you got to think when we get to the Danny stuff, she's going to come and she's either going to land somewhere else or she's going to take Dragonstone, because at this point this would still be in Stannis' hands because he didn't lose.
Yep.
He didn't die. Didn't go to all the things at Winterfell, so that's still his. It's just unclear how many troops are still there at Dragonstone and the Stormlands, and how many Baratheon. Of course, he's got Renly's army, but
he wouldn't have enough to hold it the first those dragons. No matter what.
Right, exactly. But she would probably, and then of course she doesn't have Tyrion either. Remember when she comes at this point, so
no,
she's going to go fire and blood.
She's just going to go there and burn them motherfuckers.
Yep.
Anyone on that island is dead. And that's because you still have Stannis' daughter who would be alive. Is she a bargaining chip? She'd be the heir to the Iron Throne, which makes her a strong bargaining chip. But who is there for her to marry? Who is that? Luna, thank you for the super chat. It says, do you think Tywin would hire the faceless men to come take out Stannis?
I don't know if Tywin would I'm gonna put this in quotes too, lower himself to that level.
Mm-hmm.
There is some, like, I don't know, maybe he would. I guess because he did do the red wedding. After all, he did say, why is it less honorable to kill 10 people at dinner or whatever than 500 on the battlefield, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know how you would feel about this hiring somebody to do. I don't know. I guess he kind of did in a sense with the red wedding, so maybe he would.
Yeah, I think he would. If he had the opportunity, he's got the means, he's got the money. If he had the opportunity, actually could talk to someone from the Faceless Men and said, hey, here's some money. We'll ask you that question in the chat. Do you think that Tywin would hire the Faceless Men to cure Stannis if he could? Put a yes or put a no in the chat if you can. Again, I appreciate all the super chats, but if you can, please try to send them to the Cash App. If you can't and you have to send them through here, please do so. Take them anywhere we can get them. But if you can, $ Tony Teflon 545 in the Cash App is what we can send and everything. So Luna says yes, she believes so. AK-47 says nope. She does not think that he would do it.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying. What AK is saying, I think it would feel beneath him. But again, I think if it came down to revenge for his daughter and his house and trying to still with that, build that legacy, whatever, I think if he's pushed to that point, I think he would. But I think he would detest it,
Yeah, let me see. Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat sent through the Cash App. He says T can't get those Navy boys' hands because the wildfire. Now I know about that, Kelly. I don't know about that. Looks like it would right down. AK saying if he had other options, maybe, but not off the top. I think at this point, his daughter was poisoned herself because of Stannis. His grandson is poisoned at the hands of his mother because of Stannis. I think it would just be an all-out Tywin Lannister army war. Has the biggest army in the whole Seven Kingdoms. Has the backing of the Tyrells. Without the North's help, now he would be. If the Red Wedding happens, then he gets the backing from the Boltons in the North. So now Tywin Lannister is extremely powerful right now. I mean, he's got almost all the major houses and lands on his side right now. It would be a hell of a fight for Stannis. I don't know if he could actually win that fight. It would be hard for me to think. I mean, he's a great battle tactician, and it would take every cunning trick he could to withstand all of those people.
And also back to the Melisandre thing, what could she actually do that we never got to see at Blackwater, right? He didn't bring her, but let's say he wins, right? Now she's come to King's Landing, still at his side. Is there some magical aspect that she has that we did not get to see at Blackwater, for example? Yeah. So there's another just another thing to throw in there in the thread. But you also could, like we were talking about the Ironborn now, because like you said, they never cared for the Lannisters. Maybe they take advantage of the situation while he's out, trying to attack Stannis at King's Landing, whatever, and they can go to Castle Rock if they want to, just to cause some havoc.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to think Tywin wouldn't have to do a lot of the. Oh, Kelly Johnson, thank you for a super chat again. He says, "What about Margarita's fine prime high gardeness?" So we talked about Marjorie a little bit earlier already, and we said that most likely, what did we say? She would be married off to Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, I think that would be certainly an option. Whatever, and I just said overall, it's just whatever they think the winner. They're going to pick the winner as best as they can. So they would go either way. But if Tywin reached out to try to negotiate, that would be an option for sure.
Yeah, it's because Stannis has problems. He's going to have the everyone. All the propaganda is going to be against him because he's going to have the Red Witch there.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
He's going to have the faith of the seven militant, all talking about he's bringing this foreign religion here. If there is a military uprising like there is in King's Landing, he's got to deal with all that situation. Now, it won't be a Cersei situation where they're going to come and block him up and ring the bell. He's going to burn their ass.
Yeah.
He's going to burn them all. He's going to burn all the faith, like this the wildfire shit you see. They won't even get to that. As soon as they start an uprising, as soon as he gets wind of
Yes.
anything. Capture them, grab them, burn them. And that may take care of the problem, but it may look bad in the people's eyes in the end.
Oh yeah, it's lose-lose. Yeah, he's not going to wait for them to get any strength for sure. You're 100% correct.
Yeah, so I think that they do have the uprising. He just burns them, but then again, it's not going to look good. Would Stannis try to align with Dany when she's on? I don't think Dany is trying to align with anyone. She wants the throne, and Stannis is a Baratheon who killed her family and took her from the throne.
Yes,
so,
basically the same as Robert to her. And at this point, there's no, Dany comes later, probably doesn't meet Jon, doesn't hear about White Walkers, any of that stuff, and goes straight into war.
Yeah, and that would be a wrap. So we're dealing with that. We really have to come to a thing. Does Stannis eventually win this? When you're dealing with Stannis's army versus the lands, does Tywin, in the situation that we have came up with, does Tywin beat Stannis on the throne? Does he eventually, him and Jaime, take them?
I think it could go both ways, man. I think if you're saying, for example, if you have people on the inside that are, like detest Stannis for this whole foreign religion thing, and it could be very similar to the Robert's Rebellion thing where, they open the gates for him, type of thing. That could be a possibility because of the religious aspect. If you don't have something like that, it's still hard to take King's Landing, and Tywin's still in not a great position because you still have. On Stannis, you got the whole north basically behind Stannis and all that as well coming at their back. So I think it could go either way, but again, it depends on is there people on the inside that's still on the Tywin, the Lannister side of things.
Yeah, it's hard.
That could swing it in a big way.
It could go anyway, but it's hard for me really to see. And even though Stannis has the high ground, he has King's Landing. It's hard for me to see how he beats back time. Now, if he gets the backings of the Martells and he has the Martells on his side, could they hold off a little bit longer? I think they can hold them. But in the end, if you have Tywin plus Roose Bolton, unless, if we deal with the same situation where the Mandalays don't like Roose Bolton, so he doesn't have the whole backing. Roose doesn't come all the way down to King's Landing with his army. He has to stay in the north. If he stays in the north, then, and you got the Ironborn, and they're down with Tywin because they're mad because Theon got killed by Robb. It's hard for me, and I love Stannis. That's my guy.
Right. Oh yeah.
I'm really trying.
It is known.
I'm really trying to see how he could win this war in the end. But in all honesty, in my heart, I would have to say I think Tywin takes the throne. I think he would seize the throne. I think he'd beat him. I think it's just too much. I think with Melisandre and everyone hating that religion being there, I think that would be the ultimate downfall for him.
I think so too. I think you're right. I think that's what wins. Even though people detest the Lannisters, pretty much most the houses do, the major lords and houses and whatever. I think that's the difference right there. This foreign religion, because it's just kind of an echo of the past, right? When the Andals came over and all that stuff. So I think that's what would swing it if it's going to swing that way for sure.
Someone said I thought he was on his way to Mandalore. Did I say Mandalore?
Yeah, Mandalore.
Like the Mandalorian.
I think they have a Mandalorian conversation going on here. That's where season 3 of the Mandalorian. That's where he's headed. Okay.
I'm like, Stannis got to get the Mandalore shit.
Yeah. We've already jumped to a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, well, this is because this is the whole thing, man. You do have Oberyn Martell. If it's like, Oberyn's there.
That's right. There you go. I was going to say that earlier, but it slipped my mind. And now go ahead. You're bringing it back.
Now we got to deal with that. Because Oberyn doesn't die. Definitely they're going to be aligned with Stannis because they hate.
Yeah.
Tywin.
Yes.
right? So you
Period.
got Oberyn there, and you have the Tyrion. I still don't know if the Martell army with Stannis is that enough to hold back Tywin.
I don't know, man. That might change some things there. I was going to say that earlier. I was going to mention the Oberyn piece, but I completely forgot to mention it. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, but he's going to get his revenge one way or another, and it may be like we said, assassination. Because if you cut Tywin down, that's over. I don't, period.
And listen, Melisandre could put a shadow baby on Tywin's
I
neck.
was going to say that earlier. I'm glad you said that. I was going to say that earlier. We may see more shadow babies than we saw. It might kill Stannis this time, but we might see one more. But she did say you can't do it again, right?
Yeah, he was too weak at that time.
Yeah, too weak. But if there's something that maybe
if he wins King's Landing, he's eating right. He's chilling as king.
Yeah, maybe he rests a while, whatever it is.
he gets his strength back. He may be able to stop fixing those motherfuckers out.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was saying earlier though about the Melisandre piece. What we kept hearing that. We heard that from the show is you should have took me, but what would she have done? I did a video on that years ago. Like, what would she have actually done to change the tides of the battle? So maybe we see something like that where he's got a magical advantage or whatever. So
yeah, AK is saying that she believes that Doran would pull a stunt side with Tywin just to get over and close to him, and then
yeah. I wouldn't doubt it.
It could be a situation like that. It could be a way that he gets down like that and they assassinate Tywin that way. If they take Tywin out, it's over.
It is. You cut that off the snake, it's over. Another piece I want to throw in here too that I should have mentioned earlier was Varys. He could be a wild card in this. He takes the throne initially. I think Littlefinger's probably, I don't know, they may escape. Varys probably goes, I don't know, does he stay there and try to bend the knee? And if he does, he's going to still sow the seeds of this of whatever to open it up for Dany or Fagon, whichever we're talking about books or show. So Varys is a wild card in this, and Littlefinger, what happens to him? Does he swear fealty? Does he get killed? Does they put his head on the spike? I think he probably kills him. But Varys, I think, is a little bit of a wild card.
He hates Littlefinger Stannis.
Yeah. Yeah.
He hate him.
So he's probably gone. But yeah, Varys a little bit of a wild card because he's still, whatever reason, some people think he's a Blackfire, for example. I know you guys were talking about that when I jumped in your stream the other night. So that's a little bit of a wild card. Does he try to bend the knee and stay Master Whisperers because he hates Melisandre and Melisandre can see through his shit? So does he disappear into a disguise and go off and still try to do it, assassinate, him, for example, to open it up for Fagon or Dany, whichever you're talking about. A lot of different ways that could go.
Yeah, I think it helps his plan for Stannis to win because what he wants is a realm that's not unified, so that when Fagon comes, he could be the conqueror. Right. So as long as she's got this foreign witch, and that's what they'll call her, the Red Witch, there, that helps him. That helps his thing. That propaganda in the end with her would be Stannis's downfall because the people would never fully back him because they're not changing to that religion. People will be willing to die before they change over to that religion. And when he kills a couple of people and he burns them alive, they're going to say he's the next Mad King. They're going to be like, Stannis Baratheon is the Mad King. And that's all you got to do is burn. If the faith goes in there and he finds out about him, he burns him up. Here we go. Stannis is the Mad King.
Yep.
Now you got the name as the Mad King, and no one's going to want to be down with you. I mean, but
the other side of that, Tony, just to throw this in here, is fear. If they see him do that and they see, some kind of magical shit from Melisandre, for example, another shadow baby or whatever it may be, and they see that, that's also, they may not like it, but they may shut the fuck up. It could go a lot of ways.
It could go, that usually that happens. I mean, even with Caligula or any one of these emperors, the fear is there, but eventually. Eventually they get turned. Someone gets them out of there. Yeah. Usually the fear could last for years and years, but eventually somebody, gets them out of there and takes them out and stuff, and all that. So that would be the thing. With the Martells and Stannis, could they beat? I would still, even with the Martells and all that situation, I'm going to have to say that I have to think that Tywin Lannister would eventually defeat Stannis and take the Iron Throne. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if it came to straight out war, at some point, yeah, because again, the whole religion thing is going to turn a lot of people on Tywin's side, regardless if they hate his guts or not. So all out war, I think so for sure. I think again, it comes down to you got some agents involved, whether it be a Varys or a Oberyn or whatever. If they can kill Tywin, whether it's just assassination type thing, then that's a different story. But yeah, straight up warfare. I think the religion turns a lot of the people towards the Lannister side just for the sake of that, just to stop this foreign religion thing.
Yeah, now Tony Sled, I am the biggest Stannis supporter in the whole Game of Thrones community. Period. I mean, there's no one that supports Stannis more than me. And the whole thing, though, about me is I am not a fanboy. I call it down the middle, no matter what it is. I'm independent when it comes to that. And I would love to say that Stannis would beat him. I'm not saying Tywin's a coward. It's nothing that's far from the truth. Everyone knows it. Tywin's a lot of things. He's not a coward. I just don't think that Stannis could actually overcome the odds with the propaganda of having this red woman, this new religion, all that stuff against him. I think in the end, he would get burning people. All the propaganda would be against him. Stannis is the new Mad King with his red witch by his side.
Yep.
It would be a thing like that. Now, as saying that he did the red wedding, I don't think that was cowardly that he did the red wedding. I thought that was a smart move on his behalf to do. He was getting his ass.
I mean, yeah, when you look from a straight warfare perspective, it was brilliant. I mean, let's just be honest. It was horrible, but brilliant.
There's people all the time to send spies to do a lot of things. They've tried to eliminate Fidel Castro with spies multiple times and tried to kill him that way. It happens all the time. People ain't cowards. It's just battlefield tactics. That's just the way it goes, and that's it. So I would say that we're going to agree that Stannis gets overtaken by Tywin. He gets executed. Melisandre gets executed. Davos gets executed. I don't know if they would kill Shireen or anything else like that. I don't know if Tywin would kill a kid. Mountain, could he have to? Maybe. I don't think he'd do that. He did that with the Mountain to win favor for Robert. He wanted Robert, he wanted to get Robert on his side. So that's why there would be none of that. So I don't think he would do that. So now we have the Lannisters taking the Iron Throne at this time. Do you think Tywin sits the throne, or does he pass it off to Jaime?
I think he would sit it for the time being. Jaime comes back, gets his health back, all that stuff. I don't know. I think he starts to, for the sake of legacy, he's going to marry Jaime to somebody and get some more kids coming. I mean, he's got to immediately set up an heir.
We got to marry Marjorie.
Yeah.
On the fact that we think that Marjorie would then want.
Yeah. So that's more than likely would be in this scenario is if Marjorie becomes queen against her. Now we're kind of back to where we were, except it's just a few different people.
Yeah.
A lot of other people are dead, and now we're back to now Dany shows up. Now it's just the same bunch essentially. It just wiped out it made him even weaker for Dany for that matter because they lost a lot.
So you would have Marjorie, I think, there as queen, Jaime Lannister as king of Westeros, which would make a lot of Jaime Lannister fans happy. You'd have Jaime married to Marjorie as queen, Jaime Lannister actually sitting on the Iron Throne, with Tywin the hand, but running it really.
Sure.
He's really the king, but him running it because if you say that Tyrion is killed at this time because of the Stannis situation, Jaime's got to produce heirs for Castle Rock and everything, so he's got no choice but to get that going.
Yeah, it can remove the gold cloak, the whole thing, and take away the vows and all that stuff that the Mad King did that to spite him out of in the first place.
What up, Lady Stonehearted? There's Teflon TV. Nice to see you. Smokescreen.
Good to see you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
No doubt about it.
Enjoying it like the good old days, man. When this show was still going and everybody was hyped about it, man. I missed this shit.
Yeah, this is the good times. All right, we're gonna keep going with this, but we're gonna talk a little bit before we get a little intermission, real quick. Chris, let's talk about you. You wrote a book.
I did, man. I wrote a book, man. Crazy.
Let's talk about your book real quick.
Man, I still got to send you a copy. And I know you said I understand what you said, but I still got to send you a copy But yeah, I did write a book, The Crimson Gods. Came out in October of 2021, so just over a year old. So medieval fantasy, high fantasy, but little dark fantasy twist in there. Definitely can't spoil. We did a live stream about it a couple months back. I waited a long time for a lot of people because this is one of those things I can't say anything without spoiling it. But wrote a book, took about 2.5 years, and went through that whole process. Learned a lot about it, the whole process of publishing, etc., writing, all that good stuff as well. So it's out there. I'm glad people seem to be enjoying it for the most part. I hadn't seen really any negative reviews. A couple things here and there like I expected to see, but really cool to go through the process. Lost a lot of money on it, by the way. It's not cheap.
No.
Not cheap to publish a book for sure, but it's out there. And I was going to say, I've been shouting out Quinn's graphic novel. I ordered Tadia and all that good stuff, and a couple other support independent creators, not just me, but it takes a lot. People don't realize, but it's out there. I actually got one right here. I'll throw it up here since you're asking me.
Yes, sir.
The Crimson Gods. This is the hardcover here, but available everywhere books are sold. So I appreciate you bringing it up, man.
We just AK put the link in the chat already.
Yeah, thank you. But it's awesome. The great Urtatch, you guys know Urtatch. He did the artwork in here for me as well, and I got a big. You all can't see it. There's a big map up here on the wall.
Look at this. Wait. Let's get this right. So Urtatch, the guy who did George R. Martin's book.
Yes, sir.
Did it for you. I'm sure you didn't pay with George R. Martin.
No. I mean, this was, yeah, man. I reached out to Urtatch when I started getting to where I knew this was going to be a thing. I was finishing up the book. I was mostly done with it, but I was starting to go through the process of covers and all that kind of stuff. I was like, I want to see these characters. You write these characters, you want to see them, like kind of how you imagine them. Reached out to Urtatch. He was like, yeah, no problem. He started, he had like a draft of a castle called Wolfpine in my book, like in a day or two. So it was pretty cool. And so he sent me some character art, 3 of the main characters, and then a shot of Wolfpine, one of the major areas or castles in the land known as Osgoth. And so Urtatch sent me those. We ended up able to format the book. I can kind of show you here just an example. A couple shots, but this is in the hard to see that maybe, but this is the prologue.
I'm gonna try to solo you up 1 second.
Oh, okay, yeah. But Urtatch did 3 or 4 pieces. There you go. Appreciate it, man. There's the prologue, so you can see it's hard to see with the light there, but it's hard to see obviously the detail there. Then he put in, I got a couple of the characters here. So every 13 or so chapters, there's a little piece of character. This is Amari, one of the main characters here. Let me move that over. And I love the formatting too. I had a great company do that for me. And then we have Cyric, one of the other co-mains there. And then, and you can't see that, obviously, this is the black and white versions in the book. And then Ashea, which is the main character, really. So Urtatch did a lot of cool stuff here. The cover art was outstanding. Another company did that and helped me design it and got it out, put it out there, and it's out there in the world, man. I hope people enjoy it. And I'm working on part 2 and some prequel stuff, but I don't really want to go with it quite yet. But this is a self-contained story. So
nice. Is it available in audiobook form?
Yes, sir. I put it on ACX, which is the website Audible owns, obviously for audiobooks. It's out there. Audiobook is outstanding. A guy named Graham Mack did the voiceover, did the narration, and he does over. I didn't even know this. I did an interview with him actually because he likes to interview the people he does books for. 70 characters he did voices for. So like if you just have a character walking by a random guard, for example, excuse me, and that guard says something, he's got a voice for him. So the audiobook is outstanding. When you're going through writing a book, you're so tired of reading your own shit and all the edits and all that kind of stuff. But then when I started getting the auditions from Graham, I started listening to it. It didn't even sound like my stuff. It really brought it to life. So paperback, hardcover, audiobook, and ebook as well. So it's out there, man.
So that's it. Crimson Gods, please take a look. Try to help us, man. Listen, me and Smoke, we've been in this game for a long time. A long motherfucking time, man. We've been here for a long time, And so please support this man out. He's one of us, man. And it's always good to see. It's like it was great to see Eric Tag finally get his due and
Yes, absolutely.
You know, that he's one of us. That's one of us. It's like someone else who was just one of y'all in the chat. It's one of us making it. And that's what always and there's enough room for all of us to make it. And I think that's
100%.
what people have to understand. It doesn't have to be one guy who's the best or has the most. It doesn't matter.
No.
We can all make it if we all support each other. And that's what it really comes down to in the end. If we all support each other, we can all make it and stuff. And
100%, man. There's no reason that everybody in this game, in this kind of individual or independent entertainment game, whether it's YouTube channels or gamers or writers, comic books, whatever it may be, you can all succeed. We're that's one thing me and Tony was just chatting a little bit earlier. It's just it feels like there's teams or factions, and I don't like that a bit. There's no reason for us all not to be successful. I mean, you don't have to like everybody, obviously different styles, whatever, as far as YouTube goes, but there's no reason we can't all be in this thing together in the same type of, especially coming, like Tony was the OG in Game of Thrones. I came along a little bit later, but we've been around a while and it's a wild ride, man. It's not easy. And a lot of people don't get it, but
no doubt. Yeah. So sub to Chris's channel. It's right there. AK put the link in there. It's Smokescreen Vids.
Thank you, man. Thank
you. It's in there. So yeah, if y'all haven't subbed to his channel, definitely sub to his channel, man. Support him out and everything else. And that's a good guy and everything else. So yeah. All right. So we talked a little bit about that. Me and him, we could talk about stories.
Yes, we could.
We did the original kinds of stuff. Smoke.
We did. Hey, man, I was gonna say, dude. Just the other night, I was showing my girl, showing your stream was on. I was saying that's my buddy Tony. I pulled up that old picture from Con, man. Me and you standing there, you were surprised at the height, I think.
Yeah, I was. Listen, I've seen him. We've seen each other for years through this. And when you see someone for years, he's sitting down, I'm sitting down. We look the same height sitting down and everything. You're like, so when I first meet Smoke, I'm in there, and he's like, Tone, what's up? And I'm like looking, like, where's he at? And I'm looking. He says, Tone. When I hear the voice coming from above my head, I said, motherfucker. You 6'6" motherfucker.
Not quite 6'6", but whatever.
I'm like, man. Damn, I was talking shit about playing him in basketball. What the fuck?
Yeah. That was funny. Yeah, I remember because you were in. I had already done this panel. You were in another panel, like talking to somebody up front. I believe Rawrist or Aziz or somebody. And I snuck in kind of behind you. And first time we saw each other in person, then we took some pictures and stuff. That was a fun time, man. Fun time.
Yeah, it was. And your friend James is like, that's my man. We boxing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, there's no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? Tony says I'm 6'2", but I work both.
Okay.
I'm 5'10" maybe and a half. If I'm wearing Timberland boots, I can get to the half on that. You know what I mean? That's what. Christy Angel says, "What do you mean, YouTubers?" As YouTuber streaming teams. So we're not gonna get too much into that right now because I guess it's a show and I'm gonna get back to the show. But what he's trying to say is that
not teams necessarily.
There's a lot of people in our stuff when it comes down to YouTubers that certain people only work with certain people only talk to certain people, and it's kind of like a high school lunch table. Like, this table with cool kids, this table with this kids, and that's the way it is, and that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, in the Game of Thrones community, and it's funny because you look at other people like in the comic books, and all those dudes work together. No matter who it is, they all work together. They're all cool, and it's just funny that everyone does that with everybody, but when it comes to Game of Thrones, like when I did the stream, I did a stream with me, Aziz, James Johnson, Radio Westeros, Yoke Boy, Rorash was supposed to be on it, but she couldn't make it on that one. And but when I did that stream back in the day, that was the first stream that people in the Song of Ice and Fire community actually streamed together. That was the first time that people were on the same channel when I did that one. That's why that stream was so big, because that was the first time people didn't stream with each other at all back then. No one, did anything, you know. And the stream that was promised, that was what that was all about. And then we had Smokescreen, you had Val, you had me, you had Aziz, you had the Roris, you had Phil.
Yeah.
I'm missing some other people who were on there and stuff, but you know that never happened. You never seen people. That was like the first time you seen people actually do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
the whole stream. Yeah, that stream promise was outstanding. It was a great idea on your part, and you know, I don't know. I guess a lot of people just didn't stream back then either.
No.
And then you know, I tell you, you know, I started streaming because I was doing. You know, James kind of joined and jumped in some of the Q&As I was doing back in the day. And I had a lot of comment because I was just recording them. You were recording Q&A, just regular videos. You didn't think about streaming too much, but you knew it was a thing, but you didn't, you know, I guess a lot of people just didn't do it. And I had a couple comments that were like, what if I think you're just editing these. I think you just like, you're reading questions and you're going to look up the answer and then you're editing. And I said, well, fuck it. We're going live then. We're just going to go live. And that's how it all started. As far as the live streams, and they got pretty big there for a while, but
yeah, no, listen, when we could have it, we're gonna go back to this thing, but we're talking.
Yeah,
when that Game of Thrones season was going on, and I came up with the pregame show, and I was doing the pregame show. I was getting 3,000, 3,500 live viewers, sometimes 5,000, 6,000 live viewers.
Yes.
Every stream. Smoke, when you were doing the after show, you were like one of the first ones to do the Game of Thrones after show. How many people were you getting on that after show, Steve?
It was unbelievable. We were up to 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. It was insane. I mean, I remember we did the stream that was promised, right? That was the first big stream because when season 7.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 800 or so people average, I think, throughout the different channels. And then we were like, damn, because usually, you know, we'd started streaming 6 months earlier, but we would have 300 or 400. You know, that's great. But then all of a sudden 800. And then when the damn show came on, there was 6,000, 7,000 people. I was like, what the fuck? It was just crazy. So it was insane. And then at the time, you know, you didn't have a lot of mods and stuff because you wasn't expecting a couple thousand people or more. But it got pretty damn crazy.
Yeah, no,
it was great because it gave us an opportunity to raise money for charity and all that stuff like we did for St. Jude, and so a lot of good things, man.
You raised for St. Jude's?
The first year we did like
I think I said Jews. I didn't say Jude. I said Jude's.
Yeah, St. Jude. I think we did the first year about 12,000. Next year it was a little less because everything started dropping in season 8. But overall, it was like $17,000 just on 2 streams, and that was the finales of each of those. So. It was really cool, man. Really cool to be able to give back a little too.
Yeah, no, those are great times, man. I really love those times. I wish we could go back.
Oh, I know. I like to have running water and. Anyway, I'm sorry. We're getting.
Yeah, we'll go back. All right, so that was a brief intermission, real quick. We'll go back. So at this time for the what if, we have Stannis Baratheon has been taken out. He's been killed by Tywin Lannister. His army is defeated. Tywin Lannister is by the Iron Throne. We do have Jaime Lannister sitting the Iron Throne with Marjorie. So we would have to think at this particular time we would get a letter from Jon Snow down the King's Landing talking about the White Walkers. Now, does the Wildling army take King's Landing without Stannis Baratheon being up there and coming through? Do they actually take the north? I mean, the wall.
Yeah, I think it's possible if they can get over the wall or go around it through whatever. I think it's certainly possible because at that point the Night's Watch is nothing. They're already limited. They're only in 2 castles at that point. Kind of the same situation. John's still going to be probably killed by his own brothers. So I don't know if John lives long to even get a letter out, you know, to somebody.
Yeah,
but let's say. Yeah. Because he's still seen as a traitor because the Wildlings are these evil people beyond the wall or whatever. But you do have a Wildling force there that's going to definitely probably at some point to some degree get Castle Black eventually. But now how far they come south, I don't know, because you still have they don't have the artillery, or as far as the troops and all the northern.
Well, they're really just trying to hide from the White Walkers. They don't.
They just want else out of the wall. Yeah,
they're just trying to get on the other side of the wall. Let's get to death. So let's go through. Let's say the Wildlings would take the wall because it seems like John would get killed, but he would go inside Ghost. This is what he did before when he died. So there's
That's
no
right.
way to say that John wouldn't go inside Ghost again. So John goes and gets killed, but this time, but goes inside Ghost this time. Now he's inside Ghost. The Wildlings have taken over. They're at the wall. Now you have Roose Bolton there. He works for Stan. I mean, he works for Tywin. He works for Jamie. We would have to assume that that they're going to say you're going to go up there and you're going to take care of these Wildlings.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's at this point, you know, if Tywin wins, you know, what changes with Rob and all that stuff. So now Roose is going to be, I'm assuming, you know, I guess he's warden in the north at this point, even though they haven't taken Winterfell yet, I guess. So I don't know. Would somebody would be sent up there?
Would have had to eventually, if the Red Wedding happens.
Oh, you say yeah.
So he takes Winterfell.
So same thing, yeah. So that's the same scenario then. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's definitely going to have to send, because you got this external force. You got to be seen protecting the realm, right?
Yeah. So would you think they would believe? Like Roose goes over there to take the Wildlings. The Wildlings like, listen, the White Walkers are coming. Roose ain't gonna care. He ain't gonna care about.
Yeah, unless they show him proof, like they kind of did with the whole going beyond the wall and bringing one back, but that hadn't even happened yet. So, yeah, I mean, the Northerners hear all those stories. You might have a few, you know, the old school Northerners who heard these stories and may try to listen, but I don't know. Overall, Roose, I think, is just trying to kill him.
Yeah, so if Roose goes over there and he kills him, eventually Roose would realize that the White Walkers are. I mean, you have to think that eventually, somehow, he's going to figure out the White Walkers are real. Whether he figures out they're real in time to save his ass or not,
right?
He may figure out it's real, then retreat back to Winterfell, and then start hitting Tywin. Hey,
yeah,
White Walkers, you got to send people up here. But would they be able to get there? Because then we have to deal with the Dany situation. So Dany basically would come over. We would have Dany come over. She would come over. Well, not before she gets there. Fagon gets there. So Fagon would try to come over. Would he be able to take Storm's End like he did already?
Yeah, so he's at like Rook's Rest, right? I believe. So yeah, he's still his plans. But if word gets to him about this thing, the question is he almost like Dany did when in the show? She's like, okay, I gotta save the realm before I can rule it. So if he gets word, I don't know, does he make a move to actually help? That's a good question.
I think that he could get the backing of Dorne because they still would hate Tywin.
Yep.
They would still have beef with Tywin. So I think that the whole thing, the way it played out, could still play out the same exact way. You could still have him planning on taking Storms and getting the backing of the Martells because now we got the Lannisters sitting on the Iron Throne like they were anyway. You know what I mean?
Doesn't change a lot once everything settles. It doesn't really change a lot. Yeah.
Instead of Cersei, it's Jaime.
Exactly.
But they are still on the Iron Throne right here. So he gets in there and everything else, right? So once he's in there, you have Arianne sitting there. Maybe she's looking for a wedding invitation, but whatever she's looking for, it would seem like she would have to go down there and with back Fagon. You would have Fagon sitting there. So it comes down to would they be able to take out Fagon before, because Dany ain't. I don't know when Dany's gonna get there in the fucking
right. Well, probably never. At this point, I mean, if we're just kind of going by what happened in the show, kind of because obviously the big beats are going to still be there if the books ever do come, which I don't think they will. But yeah, it's almost the same situation, like you said. It's just we've killed a lot more people in this scenario. And we still have the Lannisters essentially in the same position, except for a couple the major ones missing. A lot of people dead as far as troops go.
Yeah.
So now you got you still got the Fagon / Dany situation from to deal with as well, and now the White Walkers eventually from the north.
Yeah, and that, I mean, to get Jon Snow back, because if you want to have the story where he has to be there, I mean, you would have to just have him inside a Ghost, and after Roose Bolton and them come. I would say they see Ghost and they murder Ghost, and when they kill Ghost, he jumps back into his body. That would be the only way the wall preserves his body, and that would be the only way. There's no Melisandre, no nothing else to say. Now, if you're going to bring Jon back, that would be the only way to bring him back, unless you're going to have.
Yeah, you could still, I guess, potentially have before Stannis gets defeated. You know, depending on the timing. Again, everything comes down to timing, really. If she still has this vision. Maybe she heads up there and is able to resurrect him, and like the show. But obviously, book John's still in there dead, he's definitely going to use the warging ghost thing, like you said in the books. So you could make it work either way with him still being around some way or another to
Yeah,
get
to
the word out.
could have sent to the wall, and she could have been up there when all this shit happens, and
Yeah,
she brings him back. But you got to have John. I mean, somehow you have to figure out a way for John to actually be alive in this story, because that's just the way the story is going to be. John's going to be alive in it. So John's alive. It maybe he would have no choice but to side with Roose Bolton at this time and say we have to retreat. The White Walkers are coming and we have to retreat down there and everything else. What up to Jelly Legs Mick? And he says, big up Tony Teflon. You've been doing this Song of Ice and Fire content for a hot minute. I was really pleasantly surprised to see this live stream suggested on my YouTube feed. See, it's weird that I don't know why people don't see. I mean, it's just a lot of people tell me they subscribe. I don't know if you are subscribed, Jelly Legs. Hopefully you do, but they don't get the notifications. They're like, I didn't even say it.
Nope.
It popped up in the stream. I'm glad it did. So I would say, don't trust YouTube, man. Make sure you click that bell and click all notifications. That's the
this is just dumb, man. I mean, I get why people don't click no. If you're subscribed to 20, 30 channels, you got your phone dinging all the time. I understand that was the dumbest thing they ever did, man.
Yeah, they shouldn't. They shouldn't have that thing like that, but they do.
That's what we got to work with.
That's what we have to keep doing. But thanks for rocking with us. Hopefully you are subscribed to the channel and everything else. If you're not, please do. We do these every Wednesday is a Song of Ice and Fire, or Game of Thrones What If, or every Wednesday What If. And again, if you want a specific What If topic, put it in the comment section, and we'll take one of your topics and put it in the comment section and see if we can go through the what ifs and stuff like that. All right, so dealing with that, John's back. He retreats back with Roose Bolton, which he had no choice but to side with him at this time, to side with him and go back there, hold up in Winterfell. The Night King, the White Walkers would definitely come through the wall and attack. Does Tywin?
Wait a minute, hold on. How they bringing the wall down?
So I think I have my own theory.
I mean, I know. I know. Like you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got my theory. You have a theory? How it comes
well,
out?
I mean, I always said, look, just go by the show, obviously, for this point in time, because we're past the books. But I always said this never made sense to me, man. They when the Night King and whatever the de facto first White Walker is called in the books, whatever, but there will be some White Walker leader. What they call him is a different story. But he comes to Bloodraven's cave. He bends down. He uses magic, breaks the spell. Why did that not happen? Because Bran was in there, been touched and marked. Mm-hmm. Why did that not happen in the show? Because now in this scenario, there's no Viserion. Dany's not there. She's going straight to King's Landing or whatever when she comes.
He has no
dragon. So I mean, he should have. That's the way when Bran went back through the damn wall. Mm-hmm. That should have the mark still there. That should have been him just reaching down and using his own magic because Bran's marked or whatever and breaking the wall that way, not with a damn dragon.
No, it could be. He could get it if you want to say that Euron sends Victorion out over there still to go and hunt down Dany, and Victorion does have the dragon binder horn, and it does get blown. You could say that horn does bind the dragon to Euron, and Euron does wind up with the dragon. We did a whole stream on if Euron gets the dragon. Check that one stream out. But he could get the dragon, and he could fly over there, and he could be killed and resurrected if they're going to do that resurrection thing. So
that is true. That is true.
And because the whole thing, Euron wouldn't have any reason to partner with Lannisters.
No Cersei.
So it would be he might just say, "Fuck it, I'm killing you, take over myself." You don't know what Euron could do anything. What up, Jessica? That's how we pronounce that. What up? How are you? Thank you for coming and rocking with us there. Listen, we made it. We got the sex tropes. That's how you know you made it, Smoke.
That's right. when you get the sex bots in there, exactly.
That's when you know you made it. You know you're doing good. You don't get the sex bots, you ain't doing shit.
Yeah. Oh shit.
So you can still see a situation, but I think, me personally, how it goes down is that they have the 99 Sentinel is inside of the wall. I think that they were put in there in their armor with their spears. We know the wall preserves. They're going to look exactly the same way there is. I think that they get woken up from inside the wall and they break through the wall, not causing the whole wall to fall, but making a big enough hole. They murder the people and the whites come through. They grab up the baby monster and turn Monster into the Night King. That Gilly's baby. That's what I think happens. Because Sam, people I remember seeing in the books and the show, they don't use Mance Raider's kid. He's not involved.
No baby swapping in the show.
You see, baby Sam is with Gilly and them the whole time, but in the books, they swap the babies out. John does, and baby Sam gets stuck there at the wall, and he takes Mance Raider's baby as Gilly's baby. So I think that monster becomes the Night King, and I think, to me, that's how it would happen. And the whole wall won't fall; it would just be a section where those guys break through from the Night Fort, and that's all it would have to be.
Yeah,
to murder all of them. That's what I think. But either way, they coming through the wall.
Yeah, they're going to get through for sure. Somehow or another.
You don't put that big ass wall up there, not for it to be knocked out. It's impenetrable. Oh yeah, well we'll see.
Yeah, and in this scenario, either way, we're assuming that they are coming back because, like I said before, early on in the stream, we assume they're just coming because a lot of people think, why now? What's the reasoning? All that good stuff. Was it John, etc. But yeah, assuming they are coming through the wall, they're getting through it either way. I just. And you're right with the whole Euron Victorion thing. There's still a way for him to get a dragon, but I think it's more likely that some different way.
Let's go through Kelly Johnson. Thank you for the super chat. He says, T, them doing it nice with them spears. They definitely are. And he says, T, who would Blood Raven back? I think that Blood Raven would be on the side. I think it's the last green sea. And me personally, I don't think it's Blood Raven. But if you wanted to say it was and you want to go with that thing, he would have to back Danny. That's his blood, right? He's going to go with Danny. That's just the way it would be there and everything. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat again, Kelly Johnson. I don't see this one on the screen there, but maybe he said, T, Houdini was right. The freaks come out at night.
Houdini.
The freaks do come out at night.
I had that record.
I did too. I actually had the hat that the lead singer had with the thing to him.
Oh, did you? Nice, man.
Yes, I'm New York City, baby.
We're showing our A's, Tony. We're showing our A's, man.
I had that hat. I don't give a fuck. I mean,
no, it's just funny. I remember when my daughter was young, I was showing her a record. I'd explain what a damn vinyl record was in a CD. So that was
I think it was 6th grade when that came out, and I remember having it because I had the strap around the neck and I used to wear it on my back. I never put it on my head, just to have it on my back.
Right.
The freaks come out. The freaks come out. Then it was a shit. Good times back in the 80s, baby.
Oh,
all right, yeah. So going on with that, we have that situation going on there. We have to figure out exactly how the Fagon situation ends before we can figure out the Danny situation. Since Fagon is there, we don't know exactly when Danny gets there eventually, if it's during the Fagon thing or after. I would say she would definitely be on Dragonstone at some point. Tywin and Jaime Lannister sitting in the Iron Throne. He's got Fagon sitting there. Do you think he would have enough to take out Fagon? He can't take out Fagon and Danny with 3 fucking dragons.
Yeah, I don't think you can, but I think they do have to get Fagon out of the way. I mean, ultimately, this is about Danny, right? So she's got the dragons. I think they got to get him out of the way one way or the other, and that's going to just kind of thwart Varys's plans and make him turn to Danny the next best thing. So,
know that Mr. D456 says, my high school driver, you rock that shit hat every day. That was the sound back in hip hop back in the day. It's like people make up back in the day, all the rappers.
Oh yeah,
they don't have it, man. Every show was Curtis Blow.
Exactly. Man, I go way back to the Sugar Hill game, man. I'm telling you.
I remember my father bought that record, the Sugar Hill game.
Man.
First rap song I've heard. I remember my dad had that record. He bought that record. My dad had the big reel to reel you know, in the living room and shit. You have to reel
Oh
the
yeah.
reel with the fucking 8-tracker underneath it and shit. You know, yeah, all that stuff. So that's just the way it was to be growing up. But I would say I think he has enough to get rid of Fagon. I can't specifically tell you exactly how it happens. You know what I mean? I'd have to go. I can do a whole what if Fagon takes the throne stream and then go through it. But for details and time's sake, I can't give you how he does it. But I definitely would think that Tywin would take out the Fagon threat. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they got to get him out of the way. Either way, whoever it is, whether it be, I think somebody said grayscale with John Connington could happen. They got to kind of disprove the Aegon thing and make room for Dany, because ultimately, the story is John and Dany coming together in some way. So
yeah, and then if you have Dany coming and she arrives at Dragonstone, and it's when she arrives that the whole White Walker thing breaks out like it does in the thing, and John is there with the Roose Bolton, sending word to Tywin Lannister, listen, we got a problem up here. We got to take these people out and everything else. I mean, you would have to think that eventually they would. I don't think that in the books, me personally, I don't think that they beat him in Winterfell. I think they beat him in the Vale. I think they would have to retreat from Winterfell.
yeah. I agree. I mean, yeah, I think Dany comes over. She don't have Tyrion advising her at this point to keep her kind of sane or straighten it. She's fire and blood straight to Dragonstone, then straight to King's Landing over the Blackwater.
Yeah.
And then you got the same situation. So now Fagon's out of the way. And now it's, now John's still kind of reaching out like, look, this is the real threat type of thing. So I don't know what order that would be in if it'd be the same. But to me, it always made sense to get the throne thing out of the way for the actual fight that matters in the end to be the last big bad or whatever you want to call it, which never made sense for season 8 to me.
Yeah, I didn't like the way they did that, the way they made it.
Yeah, and one night, I mean, come on, man. You did the prologue, the whole prologue of this book series, and including the show, was about these mysterious White Walkers. Mm-hmm. And then just for one night in Winterfell, it just didn't.
Yeah, they killed one night. I mean, it was too easy for them to take them out. I mean, they had the mountain was a bigger threat than the Night King.
Yeah,
the way they presented it in the show. And to me, which would be disgusting, especially when you know the history of the White Walkers, that when they came before, they destroyed everybody in the realm. They killed everyone. They said they went through kingdoms and Holdfast, and they were unstoppable. And now, as soon as they get to Winterfell, they're stopped. I mean, I would really think that they'd be able to get past the north, kill everyone out through there, and start making their way down towards King's Landing. Like, you would have to retreat all the way down there to get away from them, and then you would have to have the battle towards them. I think that you can get them in the Vale will be the one spot to get them.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, man. We all called that type of stuff. We had all had different theories, I guess, but either way, we all thought for sure that they were going to get past Winterfell, whether you thought it was the God's Eye was important or King's Landing directly there, whatever it may be. It just didn't jive with what all the foreshadowing led up to books and show. So,
and you also got to remember, in the show, they were trying to end it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, if they would have did what they were supposed to do, maybe it would have been different. The 100% think it was different. But they were like, listen, we want out. We got to get this battle over with. Yeah, and we're gonna do one episode of this battle. Like, I would have, if it was me, and they had time. That battle would have been a 2-episode battle. Like, I would have that battle last 2 episodes, and then I would have had them get defeated and have to retreat without a shadow of a doubt. Like, the first time they actually fought them, they beat them.
I always said they were going to be driven out of Winterfell, use the crypts to escape, head up to White Harbor, take off to King's Landing. I said that from the get-go. And then the God's Eye came into play in my theories and stuff with the Night King himself, but still, I never imagined just one night in Winterfell.
Yeah, no, that wasn't good. So Dany gets the King's is a threat to King's Landing. I think with her dragons, we can go through scenario after scenario, but to me, it's impossible for her to be defeated with the dragons.
I agree, 100%.
There's no way. Tywin, no matter who he has allied with him, no matter what, Dany, no Tyrion, fire and blood. It's just impossible for him. I don't care if he has people make all the spears they want and all the. In the end, you seen her when she got mad in the show, how she took everyone by herself This
Right.
wouldn't be Euron and them shooting arrows at her. It would just be her. And if she has two, and if it's all three, you can forget about it. It's over, baby.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Tywin's going to know he's going to have some information she's on the way or whatever, but he doesn't know the full extent of 3 full-grown dragons at that point. He probably has some scorpions lined up or whatever, around King's Landing, but and maybe she loses a dragon, but it doesn't matter in the long run. There's no waiting around to give them time to do all that research, right? It's just going to be straight fire and blood to King's Landing over the Blackwater Bay.
Before, what's it? Brienne's fat sister.
Love the username.
I love it. So Ned didn't get the message about Jon because he wasn't the heir. Then his dad and brother went and got themselves killed before they could pass the word. I agree with that. And make sure you subscribe to this channel. All you new names, man, subscribe to the channel, man. We're here every Wednesday doing a Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, What If. Again, if you want us to do a What If that you want us to talk about, just put it in the comment section. Like the video, put it in the comment section, and we'll pick one of your things to be next week's What If, and we'll try to have a bunch of other people. Usually, Phil the Issues Guy, Bridge 4 is up in the building rocking with us. Bridge is on a hiatus right now, and Phil is still recovering from COVID. I know he's on the streams a couple of nights, but he's still not 100%. So, you know what I mean? But sure, he's still got to get his wind back. He doesn't have his breath back all the way. You know, if anyone had COVID, you know, it takes a while, even if you're not sick, to recover fully from it. So he's still on the mend. So he'll get better, and then when he does, it'll be a call-in live stream. When Phil said we have a call-in number, you can call in and we'll take the calls live. But what up to 5 Holocron up in the building, rocking with us and everything else. What up to you, man? Appreciate you being here, rocking with us and stuff. So yeah, so I would think right now that Dany kills Tywin, kills Jaime. Marjorie, I don't think she would kill. I think if she's pregnant or had a kid with Jaime, she would not kill them. She would give that kid, I think that kid would be the heir to Castle Rock in order for the alliance for the Tyrells. That Dany would be nice enough to say, listen, we'll let your kid inherit his birthright, and you're going to align with us, but the real queen is here, bitch.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, I think that part is pretty straightforward with this scenario. Yep.
I think it goes down like that. Now, as for the White Walkers situation, you want to say they eventually defeat the White Walkers and everything lives happily. Most likely it goes down like that. But in the end, I mean, it's hard to say exactly how the battle would play out. But as for when dealing with the Iron Throne and everything, I think Dany sits the iron. In this scenario, if Stannis Baratheon wins the Battle of Blackwater, Dany sits the Iron Throne when it's all said and done. I think she would that was how it would end.
I think she would, at least for time, and if she truly wants to quote unquote break the wheel, then she proposes some type of thing that kind of happened with, you know, some kind of council or whatever it may be, but there's no way she loses. Now, for the sake of symmetry in the story, again, this is all, you know, what if, but you know, the ice and fire motif or whatever's going on, you kind of got to think they got to cancel each other out, and John's the only one remaining, so maybe it does end up being John, but he at least carries out what her wishes would be.
Yeah,
if that's the case.
Because listen, it's really, I mean, if you have John, he finds out he's who's his father really is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, does it really affect anything at this point? I don't think it'll affect anything. I don't think Dany's still taking the throne. And I don't think, I mean, is John going to come in there and kill her like that and everything else? I don't think it goes down like that at all. In the way that they showed it in the show, I don't see that actually happening at all. That Dany just goes mad. He tries to kill her.
It made no sense. I mean, I get what they were doing, and yes, there were times where she had little Targaryen moments, but the whole thing with the show was they used the RLJ thing to just drive a wedge between John and Dany. That was the purpose of the entire fucking thing. So it was just kind of thrown together and rushed and made no sense in a lot of cases. I know. I do think there will be, just like George R. Martin himself said in many interviews, the ending will be essentially the same, the big picture things. Obviously, you don't have the Dorn plots and all that stuff, Ariana, all those
I mean,
characters.
there's a lot of things we have to, Catelyn doesn't die unless she
Yeah,
dies.
there's so many. Yeah, exactly.
Lady Stoneheart situation, he would have that. I mean, we can go into all that stuff. And Mary has a great one. She said, "What if George R. R. Martin finished The Winds of Winter, but on the way to his publisher, he crashed his car and is rescued during a power outage by his #1 fan? Well, we'd still get the book."
I don't know. Do we get the? Are we saying? I don't know. Maud Mary, are we saying that he loses the manuscript?
It just may be a misery situation she's taking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Misery.
This could be a situation where the #1 fan just holds the book for herself and has him hostage.
I mean, it might be what it takes, man. With all this wild card shit and all these shows he's working on, yeah, man. Somebody pull a Misery. We need this to happen. Because that's the thing, man. Look, if we don't get look, I think we'll get wins in another 2 years, right? Another year, 2 years, something like that. But we're never going to get Dream of Spring, and that means that Game of Thrones is your ending. It will have. You can't have a legacy like Tolkien if you don't finish the damn source material. So, again, he's not my personal author. I'm not one to say, please write the book. We need it. But at the same time, if that's what you want to build as far as the legacy goes, you got to finish the damn book, man.
And he said straight up that he would never want anyone to finish it for him.
Yes.
That's not what he wants. So it's not going to be like someone. Listen, if he's dead, could anything happen? Yes. Could the publishers have stuff and could they go to a writer and say, I don't care what he wanted. We want this money. Finish this book. You write it. We'll pay you. Yes. Obviously, that could happen. But no one would respect it as the true ending.
There'll always be the controversy. Yeah, there'll always be the asterisk beside it, the little what if, whatever. And maybe he changes his mind if something like, and then again, God forbid anything happen like that. But just saying, maybe he changes his mind and has somebody in mind. Hey, if something happens to me, take this over. Here's what I had in mind, type of thing. Maybe there's something like that going on we don't know about. But
I think what he told, I don't think they made that a lot of it up. I think he told them. I think he
did. They straight up. I've been saying that forever, man. I mean, I looked at several interviews. I did a lot of videos on it. They literally, you had the Anderson Cooper interview specifically was aired before season 8 or right after season. I'm sorry, when all the controversy was going down about the ending. He said, I don't think my ending is going to be that different from Dan and Dave's because of those conversations we had. So, yes, we got other characters, that we're going to see differences, obviously, that wasn't in the show or whatever. But the main plots, the main beats are going to be the same. I don't understand why people think that's different.
Yeah, Mike Myers says Crimson Guard is fire, dude.
Oh, thank you, Michael Myers. Appreciate it, man.
No doubt about it. Let me grab a beer.
Glad you enjoyed.
You're the host, Chris. I'll be right back. Grab one beer.
Yeah, go for it. At least we have the fanfic. Yeah, I mean, essentially, that's again, the Game of Thrones thing is complicated. It's not just a straight answer about the ending, but I've always said that I'm going by what George R. R. Martin says. He's the one I'm going to trust over speculation. And he says that he gave them all these things, and I believe they used the majority of the big beats in these major characters. So I don't see the ending being that different. Now, obviously, the other characters and stuff, you're going to have differences in the way they get there. But essentially, I think it ends the same way. But we may never know. And that's the thing. If we don't get the damn book, I'm more worried about the legacy thing of A Song of Ice and Fire, because if you don't have the source material, there will always be an asterisk. Even if somebody would finish it, or whether there's not a seventh book or whatever it may be, and then you come back into that there's always going to be the argument. Well, that's not the real ending. There's always going to be that argument unless you have a book.
No doubt about it, 100%. And that's we're going to stay on. We'll turn this to a Q&A situation. If anyone has a Q&A, we'll stay on for about 15, 20 minutes or so. We usually go for about 2 hours. And
I'll tell you what, Tony. Let me grab a drink real quick while you're, and then I'll be right back.
He's got to get another sun drop while he's grabbing that sun.
Exactly.
While he's grabbing that sun drop, I'm going to hold it down here and everything else with that. Brienne's fat sister, she says, not to mention all the tunnels in King's Landing in the north. and BR, etc. Lots of them, when you start to notice no real offense, but they can buy you time. Yeah, a lot of things can buy you time, but can it protect you from the inevitable when it's all said and done? You know, or I don't know if you're talking about Dany or the White Walkers and everything else. Is there a scenario you can come up where the White Walkers win and they actually take? Of course you can. But obviously we know in the bookstore it's not going to happen. The White Walkers will be defeated and stuff. But in this situation with Stannis taking the Iron Throne, the way we laid it out, I don't see that there's any way that Dany doesn't win the throne. With everything she's got going for her, it would be almost impossible for her to not take the Iron Throne. In fact, it's hard for me to make a scenario, what if video, that Dany doesn't take the throne. When you have dragons and stuff and everything else, it's such an advantage over everything that it's just the way it is. And with dealing with Stannis and everything else, it's just hard to see Stannis with Melisandre and a whole new religion coming there in King's Landing and the rest of Westeros respecting him, especially if he starts burning people. It just gives propaganda to make it look like he's the Mad King. And I think they would rally eventually and take Stannis. And that's why I think Stannis would get taken out, because of the people he associates with more than anything else. I think that would be the problem and everything else. What's going on here? And Chris, Angel, thank you for the super chat. I truly appreciate it. I love you for it and everything else. Thank you so much for that. Someone put Chris Smoke. Smoke Screen. Put that link in there. Another one put a link in there for you. Yeah, subscribe to Chris's channel if you haven't already. He's got thousands of videos up there. You know.
Literally.
Did quite a few of them, man. Did quite a few of them and stuff. Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else up there. That's from Costume Co. All right, that's that. All right, yeah. So that's what it'll be. Again, we'll take questions and stuff like that. But while we take questions, we'll reminisce about the old days.
The good old days.
We'll reminisce about the old days and stuff.
Before everything crashed and burned.
Yeah, but we still got a chance. I'm gonna tell you what, Chris. He did a video. Now this is back in the day. It was, and I told you this. And we talked about it, and I told you, one of the greatest videos I've ever seen, ever made on YouTube, and that was when Negan batted down the people in Walking Dead. Right. He did who did Negan bat down and everything else, and it was an amazing video. Everything from the treatment that you gave it, the commentary on it, everything about it was great about that video. Unfortunately, you guys tell the full story what happened with that video.
Yeah. So that was back in the day, still doing a lot of the stuff besides GOT and all that stuff. And so we did the Negan thing. I was just trying to be, play detective or sleuth or whatever and break it down and all that stuff. But anyway, we throw it up there. Does pretty well still, I think, like the third or fourth biggest video back on the channel. Like 500,000 views, something like that. But I think it lasted a day before it was demonetized. And so, 500,000 views. And I think I made, Tony, $14 or something like that. Yeah.
500,000 views. You made $14 on that.
$14.
Disgusting, man.
That's the kind of shit, man. And I'll tell you, lately, I don't know if you've experienced it, Tony. My older videos are getting demonetized manually.
All of them are.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
All of my
that's what we were talking about before with the book stuff, with Quinn writing his comic and Eric July doing his comic. I wrote this book. Other people, you wrote a children's novel, a children's book. These other side income streams are so important to independent creators because of shit like this. I mean, we use their platforms, so we agree to their rules, but they change the rules. And they the fair use thing is just basically ignored in a lot of cases because these third parties come in, right? It's not just HBO, it's these third parties that come in and claim this shit.
Yep.
And all the work you did is for nothing. And it's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that was one of the greatest videos. I remember when you made it, I contacted
Yeah,
you.
thank you, man. I remember you. I think we were talking on the strain it was promised, and you were
Yeah,
like,
I was
told
like, that's
that
one of the
story. Yeah,
greatest
man.
videos I've ever seen anyone produce on YouTube. It's really well done. Check it, even though he's not getting paid for it, but check it out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, I got it wrong, but
You did get it wrong, but it doesn't matter. It
That's
doesn't matter
right.
if you got it wrong. It's still
That's right.
everything was great. The camera angles, the lighting, it all fit. So that's the whole thing I tell people about theories and everything else. Listen,
Yeah,
it's just an opinion. We're gonna get a lot of stuff wrong, but
absolutely.
as long as it's good work that goes into it and it's a solid theory, so what? You get it wrong, you can't predict what people are going to write or what they're going to do. It's just the journey getting there. That's really what's important about it more than anything else.
100%.
Now, I'm going to probably get a lot of theories I made wrong, but I like the journey getting there. And if you know what I mean, I remember when I did Better Call Saul, and I was getting a lot of views on my Better Call Saul videos. And
Yeah,
I had a theory out there, and I thought Kim was working with this one dude with the cab driver, and it turned out that she wasn't. But goddamn, that was a hell of a theory. It got a hell of a lot of views and everything. And people were there, you're putting the bottom. Well, this didn't stand the test of time. Maybe not, but it was my thought at the time, and it was a hell of a thought.
Exactly, man. And they're outstanding for the most part. And you know, like you're mentioning the old Walking Dead thing, but I did that Dragon Raised by Wolves series, me and James. I mean, people have no idea how many conversations those 4 or 5 videos took, and just sitting there thinking and going back and rereading and all that stuff. And I still think that will be some degree important in the books. If again, talking about if we ever get the books, but it's still my favorite series of to this day because of the content. I mean, it wasn't the best edited or anything like that, but those are the fun ones to make, and that's what. Tony, I don't know if you feel this way about the other shows, because I know you've done well with these other shows as well, but it's just not Game of Thrones where you have this theory crafting you can do. You can't talk about it all year. You know, you got like 8 weeks, 10 weeks, or in the case of like Netflix, The Witcher, you got like a week and your season's over. There's no theorizing.
Because it's a unique situation where the books aren't all written. So you can
exactly.
You deal with The Witcher, the books are all written. Even House of the Dragon, it's all written. You know, you can't theorize nothing that's, you know, it's there. There's no theory.
Yeah, there's a couple little, you know, you could theorize, for example, what did Daemon do in this specific situation in House of the Dragon, but we know how essentially it ends.
Yeah.
So it's not like God where you have all these year-long type of things that people want to talk about and hear and still interested in. So it's a tough time, man.
Yeah, and I agree with Jackie C. Send some super chats to Tony Teflon at my Cash App. Definitely. Listen, YouTube, it's we ain't making money on this shit. Smoke it. Ain't making money. I ain't making money on this motherfucker, man.
No.
You know what I mean? So if you can help a brother out, please do, man. It really does help, man. I'm up here for the love of it more than anything else. It ain't for the money.
It really is, man. And I tell you what, it's hard, man. It really is hard. I know I'm not, again, I'm not complaining. This is what I chose this path. I left a good career for this type of thing, but it's just, you know, you work your ass off and you build a community, and you're pretty proud of that and able things you're able to do, and the friends you make along the way. Me and Tony are sitting here now because of this shit, raising money for charity, all that. And then to watch it kind of just burn and go backwards, it really breaks your heart in a lot of ways. And it's tough for a one-man show, like we were talking about earlier, Tony. So it's
yeah, you know, when you deal with people like me, you deal with smoke screen. Now, I had to teach myself how to edit my videos, how to do my own lighting. I had to teach myself how to stream, had to teach myself how to do all these things. There's no team. You know, there's a lot of these
there's no corporate team. Nope.
There's a big team behind them. You know,
I started out, man. I don't know if you don't watch my old videos. They're still up there, but I was like this, like, what's up, y'all? You know, I was just leaning back in the chair. I didn't know nothing about a camera, framing, editing, thumbnails, any of that shit. But it's a lot. It's a lot. And then the rules are constantly changing.
Yeah, Luna, thank you for this. She says, what's your process in deciding what to cover? P.S. I'll also Cash App too. I appreciate that. So when I cover shows I like. I am not one of these people who can just cover any show just for the sake of covering it. If
Same
I
here.
don't like the show, I can't do it. I
I
can't
can't
put,
either.
I can't put myself in and out. Maybe that's a bad businessman as me, and maybe I should just go after every show that gets a million views on it, whether I like it or not. Like a lot of these people, if you look at Grace Randolph, Emergency Awesome, Heavy Spoilers, if a show don't get no views, they drop that coverage the next day because
Yep.
it's not them doing it.
100%.
It's a lot of them, except for Grace. I think Grace does her own stuff, but the rest that I mentioned, they got a team working for them, and the team goes, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, and that's just the way it is. I have to actually watch these shows. A lot of these people have people that write notes for them. A lot of these people have people that write scripts for them. I actually have to watch the show and pause it and write notes while I'm watching the show.
Exactly.
And I'll
Exactly.
tell you, we talked about this a little bit with back in the day when I was theory crafting and making theories up, and so when we smoked, there was no search of Ice and Fire. Like right now, there's a website, a search of Ice and Fire. So if you type something in, it'll bring up anything that has what you typed in from all the books. When I was doing this, when we first started, you had to physically go through every book and chapter and look and look and look and find it, highlight it, go to another book, highlight it, and try to figure things out. That's the way it was. Now it's just crazy. Anything, Chris? Any more Redneck Got episodes coming?
Oh man, Jessica, I would love to do more of those. Those are fun to do. I don't know, they didn't get a lot of views, so I don't know if a lot of people saw them, but I just did. That's the way I'm looked at anyway. So I figured I might as well go with it. I just did some, I think I did the first episode, different scenes with rednecks in it, and did all the green screen work. And it was, they kind of looked shitty, but I kind of meant for them to. I had like Riddick's dog toys on my shoulders with a damn blanket, playing Ned in one part and playing. That was a fun to do, but those took so much work. And then, like we and Tony were talking about, they get 2,000 or 3,000 views, and you make $3, and you're like, I gotta go to work. So I would love to, man. I would love to do like more skits like that, but it's just kind of just one of those things where you got to decide to eat or not.
Yeah, and it's up to you guys. Really, it's up to the fandom. And listen, everyone who's here in the fandom, everyone, I get about 80 people that come and watch these every week, and hopefully we grow. Man, y'all people always got my back and always have our back. But it really comes down to a YouTube thing and the analytics of YouTube. And I'll explain. If people don't know how YouTube works, I can tell you how it works real fast. I'll do it really fast. When you put out a video, YouTube shares that videos to your subscribers. If a small portion, if a certain amount of your subscribers do not watch that video, then your video does not go viral.
Nope.
That's what it is. So if you put it out there, if your subscribers gotta like it, you gotta be. So when you're subscribed to someone, you gotta be there to watch that person's video and like that video. Because that's why when you see people like Emergency Awesome, Heavy Spoilers, anything they put out, they have 20,000 subscribers that are going to watch anything they put out. Right. So once they get that 20,000 subscribers, put it out, YouTube says, oh, this video is a success, and then pushes it out to more people, and that's why they get all those views. Someone like me, I put out a video on The Last of Us. The subscribers that watch it are 20 of them, and that's the end of the video.
Exactly.
That's it. It's a done deal. So we can't do it no more. You know what I mean? So that's just
it is one of those things. It is tough because you have this core that supports you no matter what, and it's really cool, and you're really appreciative of it. But you also got to be, practical. You can't spend 5, 6, 8 hours doing a video, whatever it is, even longer, depending on how much editing you put into it. And then YouTube puts it out to a few hundred subscribers, and they don't watch it because it's not your normal stuff. And then it doesn't go beyond that, and then you're kind of stuck. So,
and you get like YouTube analytics tells you, well, you looking like I can look and it tell me your normal subscribers are not watching this video. The people who normally watch your videos are not watching. And when I cover different shows, some people like Game of Thrones, other people may not like other shows like Your Honor or whatever I'm covering, so they don't want to watch the video or anything else like that. So I would say that if you want to support the channel, watch any video they put out, because that's what a lot of these people watch it for the person. You know what I mean? And everything else, and watch it, help get their videos get boosted out there and everything else there and everything. So that's the way I would say if you could, help somebody else help somebody else's channel out and stuff like that. And
Yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle, man.
Is he over here putting other people's channels in that shit, Carl? Check out a channel called Company of the Cat. She has a lot of cool theories on there, horns and stuff. Who is this, Carl? You could do it. I don't mind. I'm just playing. See, that's one thing about me, man. You can promote anybody's channel who's cool people, because I want to see everybody succeed. I would never want to see anyone not succeed. And I would never want to take food out of anybody's mouth. You know what I mean? What helps most? Thumbs up or commenting on how? So it's both. So interaction helps the YouTube algorithm. If you can get, then this is how it works. 500 likes within the first 2 hours, that'll make YouTube push your video out to more people. But it's that 2 hours as soon as the video is released. You get 500 likes. If you look at any video, you can go through my videos, go look at them, and you see what I got 500 likes. You'll see that I got no less than 5,000, 7,000 views on those videos. But it's really those likes right off the bat. You know what I mean? That's the way it goes.
Yeah, they want interaction, and the main thing is watch time. If you can watch a video 100% of it, that's the big indicator.
Yeah, you got to watch the video the whole way through. That's what they use. It's click-through rate, watch time is what they're looking for, right? They put the video in front of 5,000 people. You got to have at least, I would say, 5,000, 50%, maybe 2,000, 2,200 watch that video. If 2,200 don't like it, then they say people don't like this thumbnail. That's why thumbnails are so important, that people have to click on it. But when it all comes down to it, if you have a fandom, if you have people who watch your videos, I said these big channels, Emergency Awesome, Heavy Spoilers, all of them, the reason why people, they get views is because when they put out a video, no matter what video they're putting out, they got at least 10,000 people that are willing to watch it. And once they put it out there and everything else, AK saying tags are important, thumbnail tags aren't really as important as they used to be.
Really they don't mean anything
anymore. That's an old thing. It used to, but not anymore. It comes down to this, and I'm telling you, people, I've been in this game for a long time. Thumbnails are 100% important because you want people to click on the thumbnail. It's the first thing they see. But it comes down to active subscribers. You can have 100,000 subscribers, 200,000, but if you only have 500 that are active, then
exactly,
it doesn't matter. It's active subscribers. That's what counts. Because when, as I said, when they put that out, you put that video out, the active subscribers goes and watch it, and then they say, "Oh, all right, this video is good." YouTube puts it in front of more people, and then that's when it happens and everything else. That's how it works. That's the way it goes. And when you're dealing with channels like mine, you know, I can get, you know, if you have a channel like let's say Talking Thrones, he's only doing Game of Thrones videos, so he has a fandom, and they'll all watch his Game of Thrones video. He's not trying to expand it because he doesn't have to. He gets so many views in his Game of Thrones video. That's all he has to do, which is great. I can't do that. I don't get enough views on my Game of Thrones video, even though I've been doing this probably longer than, I think, I am longer than anybody on YouTube right now. But I don't get enough views on it to support just doing Game of Thrones. I wish I did. So I have to do other shows, but I like covering other shows. I love these other shows. It doesn't bother me to cover them. So I have to go out and look for it. So when I go out and do a show on Your Honor, now when I put a video out, YouTube puts that video in front of all the Game of Thrones people because they think that's who likes my stuff. But then the Game of Thrones people say, "What's this shit? This is not Game of Thrones. I don't want to watch this." And then they don't watch it, and then the video tanks in the toilet. And that's how it goes. And that's the way. That's YouTube, that one-on-one for you right now. So
yeah, you're supposed to be in the niche, but now you're not. But then used to be this thing called channel authority. So if I had 50,000 subs, for example, and somebody had 1,000 subs, we did exactly the same video, I, by the nature of the beast, the machine, would get more views because I have channel authority. That's no longer a thing. So yeah, I mean, what Tony's saying is exactly right. The subscriber number, that is a big signal. It's why everybody's saying, like what Tony says, I say, please hit like and subscribe, because those are the signals to spread the video to more people. But it doesn't matter if 5% of your subscribers are watching; they're not going to be pushed out to the rest of the sub base, and then therefore other audiences. So it's hard to you're supposed to be like you're told to be in a niche, but then you get stuck in that niche and you can't do anything else. So
yeah, there's only a
it's
certain amount of people who can actually just get away with making Game of Thrones videos.
Yeah.
And be successful at that. I mean, even like in Deep Geek, he doesn't just do Game of Thrones videos. Quinn from Ideas of Ice and Fire doesn't just do Game of Thrones video. David
Quinn got big off of Dune and Robert off Tolkien. I mean, there's these other things, but
you
it's
know, and Dave Lightbringer started a different channel because he wants to talk about other things, but he doesn't want to mess up his YouTube. Because what happens is if I start talking about something and then these Game of Thrones people don't watch my video that I put out, right? So then I do put out a Game of Thrones video. YouTube's going to say, well, these people didn't like that video that you just put out, so they won't put it in front of the Game of Thrones people again.
Right.
So now I'm gone. I'm not known as an authority on Game of Thrones. Now I'm gone.
And then if a subscriber, going back to your points on a subscriber misses 2-3 videos, they're now considered inactive and they will not be shown anything.
Mm-hmm. So. And that's exactly the way it is. And if you subscribe and then they put it in front of you and then you don't click on it, then they're going to stop putting it in front of you. And they're going to say, well, they don't like it. And that's it. That's why. And that's it. That's also someone on the comments came in early and said, I'm surprised to see that I got notified for this stream. Right. But that's the way it is with YouTube. And that's just the way it goes. So, I mean, that's YouTube 101. So I would say if you really want to support people and you really care about their channels, number one, when they drop a video, watch it. No matter what it is, watch. That's if you could do that, that helps out. Watch the whole video. Even if you're not watching, listen, I ain't gonna lie. You just turn them off and leave the room.
Exactly.
Even just leave the room and say, listen, I want to support this person. I may not watch this show they're watching, but I want to support this person. I want them to be successful. Put the video on and leave the room and let's let the video watch the whole video play. That is what helps. That's what you do. You know what I mean? That's the way until you can get to the point where you have, like Charlie's got 3 million, a couple of million subscribers. Of course, he's going to have 10,000 people that does anything. You know what I mean?
Yep. 100%.
You know what I mean? That's just the way it goes. That's just how it's going to be. So yeah, that's YouTube 101, man. That's what it is. And hopefully, we'll be back again on Wednesday to do another Song of Ice and Fire. What if? Again, if you want to pick what we're gonna do, all you gotta do is put in the comment section. We'll definitely do it. We'll answer this question right here before we get at it. How do you build a YouTube channel? So, Christian, what advice would you give to someone starting a YouTube channel right now?
Today, you want to number one, be passionate about it. Don't, like me and Tony were saying, I agree with him 100%. I cannot do, and then we're in a dangerous niche anyway, because we're not in evergreen content, right? It's not like science where people are going to always be. You don't want to go after search. You go after recommended. So you want to build something like Tony was saying earlier that people will click on, number one, because they got to click it in order to watch it. Watch the majority of it, not click out in the first 30 seconds. So you want to be able to hook them in that way with whether that's editing or your personality or a combination of both, whatever it may be, and get them to watch. And therefore you will start to be recommended. You can start with search, but you don't want to use it used to be about keywords and tags and all that shit. That doesn't matter anymore. It helps to the search angle. That's a whole different robot as compared to the recommended. So you have to get that watch time and focus on keeping people in that video. You got to tell a story. The problem with like me and Tony's channels, in the sense of this niche that we're in, as far as covering shows and all that, it's hard to tell a story about a story. But it's the old primal thing that got us to who we are as humans. Is storytelling is the key to keep people watching. That's the key to the new YouTube algorithm, so to speak. So, Mr. Beast, everybody knows who he is, whether you watch him or not. He tells a story where you have to watch 100% of that damn video to see what happens, who gets the money, who wins this, whatever it may be. That's the key. Tell a story.
It is. And think about when you talk about Mr. Beast, he's so big that he could make any title that he wants on any video.
Yep.
He could just put hi, I'm Mr. Beast, and it's going to be viewed by 10 million people because he has 50 million subscribers. And
110 million subscribers.
And you have 110 million subscribers, probably 75 million of active subscribers. Yeah. So that means they're going to watch anything that he puts out. And again, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. It matters how many are actually active. Correct. Right? How many actually watch the videos that you put out there and everything else. So that's what it comes down to. But since he has that many, any video he puts out, it's going to get 1 million views within the first hour as soon as it gets that many. Because how YouTube works, again, I'll put it out to you again. It easiest way is like you put out a video. YouTube will put that video out. First, it'll go through your subscribers and see if your subscribers like the video. If you get a good amount of subscribers that watch the video, then they put that video out in front of more people, meaning they promote it into more in front of more people. If a lot of people watch it the first time they promote it, then they'll promote it into a bigger audience. If a lot of people watch it in that bigger audience, they'll promote it to a bigger audience. And it keeps going on. Once they reach an audience that doesn't like it and doesn't watch it, then the promotion is over. And then that's when you don't get it. So that's how it goes. So when you look at one of my videos, I think my biggest video is like 800,000, 900,000 views or something like that. And when I was watching that video go up, I was getting 20, 30,000 views an hour. I was getting 30,000 views an hour. Boom, 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 boom. Because it blew up so much in the beginning that they kept promoting it. Now, if you put my video in front of 1 million people, I would get at least 100,000 views every video that I put out. But YouTube won't put it in front of 1 million people. Only because I haven't proved to them that 100 million people want to watch my video. When you look at Mr. Beast and he gets 25 million views a video, they put that video in front of 900 million people. And 25 million of that 900 million watch the video. That's how he gets those views. You see, so you have to put it, they put it in front of an astronomical, like when I got the 800,000 views on that video, they put that video in front of over 7 million people.
Right.
Right. So that's when you go with click-through rate. That's what click-through rate means. How many people actually see this thumbnail and actually click on the video?
Yeah. So you have impressions, which is just having the thumbnail out there. And then the click is the click-through rate based off how many impressions. So
yeah, so that's what happens. So when you see people with 1 million views in that video, they put that video in front of 10 million people to get that 1 million views.
Yep.
YouTube algorithm has to be triggered to do that. So like when you see my video and it has 500 views, they only put that video in front of 3,000 people.
Right.
You know, so that's why they didn't put it out. And they said, oh, only 500 out of 3,000 watching this video sucks. And then that's the end of it. And then they don't put it out there and it's gone. So when you look at my views and it's done like that, when you see someone like Talking Thrones and he has 100,000 views, they put that video in front of 2 million people. And 100,000 out of that 2 million watches. That's how they do it. So you're trying to get promoted by YouTube, but they don't promote every video. They can't. It's too many videos being uploaded every day.
Yeah.
So in order to get them to promote your video, you get 500 likes within the first 2 hours, or your subs watch it. Whether it's 1,000, you really want 1,000 an hour. You get 1,000 people to watch your video in the first hour, then it will keep going and everything else. So the best thing I would say, if you want to help me, is when you see, hit the notification bell on the video, so that when I upload a video and when I drop a video, as soon as it drops, watch the video. Why? Even if you don't like it, just turn the shit on and put it in the background and let it play all the way through. That's the best. That's the best thing you can do for me. Any other creator that you want, that's the best thing you could do. Super chats and everything is beautiful, and I love them, and everyone would definitely take it. But that is the best thing you could do to help somebody actually get ahead and make YouTube a full-time job for them, which is something that I want, something that Chris wants. We don't want to go to work. We would rather just do this, because if I could do this all day, I promise you that the content you would see would be amazing. And again, it's a different situation for me. and I'm not harping on it, and I'm not saying it, but y'all know you've seen the discrimination that the actor Corliss Valerian got just because got as a black dude being played that role. I've gone through it as a Song of Ice and Fire creator. Chris knows it. This is a fact. I'm not just saying that this is a fact. I have a different obstacle that I have to overcome, but still, other people have overcame it. I'm not saying that I can't and everything else. It's just something else. Just another hurdle to jump. So that is what it is. That's how YouTube works. And I hope y'all learned something from it and everything else and all that. So that's it. Does the videos have to play all the way through, literally to the last second? That is how you get it. It goes through watch time. So They take the average of everyone who watches your video and they give you the average of the watch time. So that's why when you see somebody make a 20-minute video, they're hoping people watch it for at least 10 minutes to get their watch time up. So when you watch it all the way through, you got that 20 minutes here, 20, because people will watch a video for 30 seconds and turn your video off. That fucks your channel.
Yep.
That's the number one way to hurt people's channel is to do that. To watch a video for 10 seconds and turn that motherfucker right off. And that's it. That's the way it goes. And all that. All right. Now hopefully that helps y'all understand YouTube a little bit better, understand what we have to go through while we make this. Chris, let these people know. First, thanks for coming on, man. I truly appreciate it.
Man. I really appreciate you having me, man. I was excited when you reached out to me. We all these years and we've only done a couple things officially together, but this is cool, man. I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, we need to work together more. We need to get some popping without a shower with that. Look, what do you got going on in your channel? You got something new coming out? People
man, I'm still in that, like we said, where I'm still in that phase of I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing anymore. But I will say that my daughter is 21 now, and people were asking over on Twitch and stuff. I do stream on Twitch on Mondays and Thursdays just for fun. I'm still over there. But my daughter's going to watch Game of Thrones, and I'm going to watch it with her and basically react to her reacting to it. And I posted a thing on my channel in the community tab earlier. I'm going to get questions from viewers to ask during or after the episode. So we'll watch the whole thing. We'll have to chop it down and not show everything, obviously for copyright reasons, but to a 15 or so minute video. And let her watch Game of Thrones, and basically, because obviously I can't react to it, but she can, and I can react to her and laugh at what the emotion she's going through. So that's coming up anytime. We'll try to record a couple of those at a time, at least do one a week. But other than that, man, I'm really just kind of in this directionless right now. We're talking about The Last of Us. We're just at least doing live streams. I don't know if I'll do full videos on that. We always cover the Mandalorian, Witcher stuff as well. Like you said earlier, I cannot do shows that I don't enjoy. I can't do all the different shows. I'll watch a handful of shows and that's it. And I want to talk about them. So I don't do everything, but that's it for now. Just trying to figure out the new direction. Cause me and Tony were talking earlier. It's just all, it's pretty difficult to keep going sometimes when you're, it's hard as that with the burnout on top of the changes and the competition, all that good stuff. So but I think that will be fun watching with her, watching her reactions to this show, because it'll be brand new to her. So
that'd be great. I think it'll do good. I obviously put her in the thumbnail.
Exactly. Not my old ass. We
that's what works, man. You ain't gonna lie. That's what works.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
Beautiful woman always works. AK, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you saying that. And she says it's kind. Can't speak for everyone, but I know Tony for sure shielded me and the ladies quite a bit when we started out. The racists fans were doing something, and it's the truth. And and I'm always will be here for y'all sisters. I'll be here for anybody, but definitely for my people. And I definitely, do anything that I can do, you know what I mean, to protect people and everything else. And it's disgusting that we even had to go through stuff like that. But the bottom line is we did have to go through, like we do, and that's just what it is and stuff. My next video will be Your Honor. It's on Showtime, so that'll be out on Friday. I would love to do a live stream every Thursday for it, but I'm not going to do it unless everybody gets it popping, watches it. I'm not going to do Your Honor stream. I'm supposed to cover with LMR. I'm going to check in with her and see if she's been watching it and see if she can catch up, but if she can, because we got something jumping off of LMR. She usually only stream on the weekends. We're trying to do a new thing. I'm just trying to, I don't want to start it with her unless I know we can constantly do it every Saturday. And
I was going to ask what happened to the Lady of the Dawn podcast.
We are doing it. It's not over. That's why you see it in my video. We're still doing it. She got a new job, and her job is very demanding. And obviously she has children and a husband, and her life is just, it's a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else. You know what I mean? So we're just going to try to get this thing constant. We got to get Teflon TV to 100K by this time next year. Let's do it this year.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, that's what I was saying, man. I saw, we got up to 83,000 before season 8 ended, and now we're backwards to 77. And I was like, House of Dragons coming, it's going to change things, and it kind of got back to a little bit of steam, but not for long.
You got to remember, Game of Thrones didn't pop off until after the Red Wedding.
That's right. That was the big thing.
When I was first covering Game of Thrones before that, no one watched my videos at all. And then after the Red Wedding, that's when all these motherfuckers emergency.
Yeah, the internet exploded. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, they were never covering it before. It was none of them. It was just me. It was just none of them. Then all of a sudden they got it, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the Don to 100K. Let's get smoke screens to it. Let's get the people who actually care about the series, who don't just do it for the views and the money, who actually been here for the year. Let's try to get these people to 100K. Let's get us to 100K and everything else. But I will have that. My next video after that will be, I'll do the pregame show for The Last of Us Sunday. We start this week. Spill will be there and everything else. Again, Wednesday, we'll do the Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, What If. Put it in the comment section what you want it to be and everything else. And we'll be back, man. Thank everyone for rocking with us. If you like the way I do this, please subscribe. Thank you, Jane Marie, and everything else. Hope to subscribe, Jane Marie. I never seen you before. Hopefully you subscribe to it. And we see you next week. And until next time, you know what it is. Peace.